for the show. Welcome, welcome. I set up the set finally. I finally did it. That's kind of the main thing that I have to report today. Hello, Gayfesh. Hello, Dank Cat Lord. What's up, Riffs? Got a couple people over in the YouTube chat. Hello, Nikki. What's up, Fen? There's Dally. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. It's hump day. Man. And we're getting close to it being a month since I actually got here, so that's pretty exciting. There's green, yes. So this is not finished. I want to be clear. I marked out the studs earlier, and I got some things put up. We've got some things started over here, but it was definitely not finished. I was in the process of trying to think of what to do with this vine, and then I just kind of was like, I want to go do something else now. And I just kind of threw it up there and went to do something else. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to stay up there. But I feel like, I feel like all of this area is ripe for posters or something, something that I don't mind being kind of hidden by my body a lot of the time. And then you'll only see it occasionally. And I don't even know if this is the exact background that I'm going to use with the video essays. I'm finally kind of slogging through some of the sludge in my brain, and I'm like, okay, because there's so many decisions. I don't know if you understand. With stuff like these all had to be, they have to, they have nails, and they can't be very big nails because they have to be very easily painted over, right? That's how most apartments seem to handle it. Most rentals in general. Basically every rental I've ever had, whether it was an apartment or a house or a townhome or whatever, they are basically you can use very small nails for putting stuff up. And I'm pretty sure that basically what they just do is they just paint. And it kind of fills in. Thank you. Yes. I just shaved my head and showered right before stream today. As usual, it's doing a little bit of the Velcro thing, but it feels so good every time. It's just really hard for me to do it. So spackle is an amazing thing. Spackle is an amazing thing if your walls are white. I don't know if you've noticed, but these are not exactly white. And so it would be kind of harder to just use spackle to cover things up. And I find that I care a lot about, doing things by the book. It's that autism kicking in. I get it. Yes, you should shave your head. I recommend it. What's up, Zypation? Be safe, you guys. DEI walls. True. It's true. Oh, boy. So, yeah, trying to get together my creative energy, because there's so many, and I've got stuff back here, and it's what do I put where? This camera kind of sucks, honestly. It's doing a lot of AI correction to try to deliver a clearer image, which I bought it because Jimmy recommended it, and I am now working for Jimmy, and all of his employees use this same camera. So I'm like, okay, it's fine for streaming. It's fine for being on Transatlantic Call-In Show, because that's what it's for. Ultimately, that's why I got it, was because it fits in with that type of thing. But it is not good for video essays. What kind of camera is it? This is, it's a Logitech camera. A very high-end Logitech camera for what it is. But it is still fundamentally a USB camera. I don't remember what it's called right now. I'm not going to look it up. But yeah, the ADHD strikes again. Man, it's been crazy this week. Oh, man. The camera. Yeah, so I'm charging right now the camera that I used to use for stream, which the reason why I stopped using it for stream purposes was because it would, during live streams, which are 4 hours long, the camera would shut off and back on. And so my visuals here would go away, and it would just be a black screen, and everybody would be like, oh my God, where are you? It's fine. It's just the camera doing the stupid thing again. But I think if I record with it, first of all, it'll be running off of the battery instead of being powered the whole time, because I think I even removed the battery for a while and just had it running directly off of the DC in. Um, so being on the battery and recording to an SD card for shorter periods of time, I'm hoping that I can just go back and use that camera for recording video essay content. And like that, I'm only gonna have to set that up like once or twice a month. So, this being my daily camera. But the unfortunate thing about this for the live streams is that a lot of the detail over here is being missed. Just like, I don't know if you guys remember when I did that first dragon video, I had an ear cuff on, a silver ear cuff, and you could tell that it was a dragon, but you couldn't really tell a lot of the details of it because of the work that this camera does to like sort of denoise, and I only have so much control over that. So yeah, I just feel like it sucks. And like if I record a video essay, I want every detail to be present. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point? But for the purposes of stream, cool. Like, I don't really have much on this top shelf, so it's looking a little bit naked up there. But I am pleased with the fact that I made progress. I did genuinely consider using this stream and just being like, by the way, guys, like just titling the stream, I'm gonna work on the set, shut up. And like, I don't know, that was the idea that I had. And then I was just gonna work on the set and then let you guys talk amongst yourselves and then occasionally come over here and be like, what are you guys talking about? Or like maybe talk to you from over there. It would be funny because you would barely be able to hear me. Yes, hello darkness, my old friend. I was really off key for that. Something that I do before stream is I've been trying to do more vocal warm-ups and I'm not great at it in the sense that I'm not great at remembering to do it, but no, man, the ADHD is so bad today. I did not take the Ritalin. You can tell. Ritalin did not happen today. I'm like in the middle of a thought and then it just slides out of my head. Frustrating. Okay, Silent, thank you. Have a good night. It's cool how you're positioned in front of the blank space. I mean, if I'm filling things in, I might as well fill in the blank stuff first, I've got like some curtains over here and like, yeah, so it's, it probably won't stay blank, but for now. Oh, yeah. No, to warm up, vocally warm up. I've been doing Epona's song because I don't really struggle that much with the diction aspect. It's mostly like my throat starts to hurt while I'm talking to you. And I don't know if that's because like, would it actually be less stressful on my voice if I were to do the voice work that would be required to like sound more masculine? Like, I don't know, but regardless, my throat often hurts at the end of the stream. So I'm trying to do warm-ups. And also, hypothetically, I should be finding more opportunities to rest my voice during the stream, like by watching content or something. But yeah, no, it's just like my voice hurts and I need to warm it up. So I do more like songs. So it's not Epona's song. That's not exactly right. Or it's like Lon Lon Ranch kind of. I think it's like Lon Lon Ranch kind of. Like, oh my god, can I even find the tune right now? I feel like I'm struggling to sing today in a way that I don't normally. But the one that's like, so first of all, obviously, like you do the fifths, ba 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 ba, just as a warm up, and then but something about how the way that this Lon Lon / Epona song moves, it's like bum 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 bum, and that's just very pleasing to me, especially because you can slide through them if you want, and make it really like country kind of. So that's one of my warm-ups that I do is just like getting in this like relaxed kind of Epona song mood. I do genuinely think it is just like generally Lon Lon Ranch from Ocarina of Time. Is it in Twilight Princess 2? Nice. Okay, cool. Why does everyone I know of seem to be on Ritalin these days? So If you are referring to like content creators, I do genuinely think that uh, the content creation is something that is very suitable for people with ADHD. Cause like I actually feel like I'm working at my best when I have a lot of things to juggle. I think, some people really dislike, um, they really dislike driving, for example. I really like driving because I'm like, okay, I have a lot of different things I need to pay attention to, you know? Um, so I have kind of a similar thing with streaming where I'm like, oh, like sometimes it gets away from me, but a lot of the time I'm like, oh, yeah, this is like a good number of things for me to be juggling at the same time in order to feel like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, all my focus is where it should be. It's also why I like playing Papers, Please, because it feels like, okay, this is taking up all of my bandwidth, as opposed to, and maybe this is like sort of a symptom of that problem you have where you're like, I'm playing a game, but I also need to be watching something or listening to something. Yes, that is just Lon Lon Ranch. Cool. Yeah. Not just content creators, most of my friends. Well, to be fair, people do tend to like cluster together where possible, you know? Uh, Neurodivergent people have a tendency to like get along very well. It's like recently finding out that my friend is like realizing that he's autistic and ADHD, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no wonder we're friends. Like, no wonder we're best friends, actually. Like, so I just think we find each other, and then we get diagnosed, and it's like, oh, okay, we just communicate the same way, and that's why we're friends. My partner has ADHD, and driving is too overwhelming. She finds she can't focus on all the things at once. Yeah, I mean, it's I guess it's not so much about focusing on all the things at once as much as it is like being able to switch focus between things in an efficient manner, because like you have to check your mirrors, and then you have to look at your speedometer, and then you have to be maintaining your, it's like you're changing your focus very quickly, and that's almost kind of what works for me. In a box. Thank you. More blue, dabba dee dabba die. True. Oh my gosh, thank you for 5 gifted tier 2 subs. That's very generous. Appreciate that. How does this work now? Okay, this works like this now. I guess what's still on offer is that I'll go get the cat, although like I'm feeling very warm right now. Like, okay, so yesterday I had a low blood pressure moment that really freaked me out, and that took me like several hours to recover from. And I'm finding that since that happened, I'm like freaked out because I feel like I might feel like that again. And it's very scary. But it was like I was just watching a video on Facebook, sitting down. I was sat down here. Uh, and I think it was the subject matter of the video was triggering to me, and I did not expect it to be triggering to me. I was just like, because, I just like watch videos that scroll by on the Facebook timeline. It's whatever, like all the time, pretty much. So I was just like watching a video, and then the content of it, like, I think that that's what it was, because I can't think of any medical reason. Now, I can say that I probably was vulnerable to a low blood pressure episode because I like hadn't had enough water, for example, or like I hadn't eaten, but it was still really, I truly believe it was just like an emotional trigger. And I think that it's very fascinating, and this makes me think that I really need to finally get around to reading The Body Keeps the Score, because I think we all think of being triggered as being like an emotional reaction that it might involve like stress and like increased heart rate and stuff. But I think people think of it as being like you're worked up and having a reaction emotionally, and I do that shit too, like, and that's part of it. Probably is part of like some kind of trigger. It's just a less intense one where suddenly I'm getting really reactive, but in this case, I just was sitting down and suddenly I felt like, oh, like dizzy. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I immediately like stood up, went to the kitchen, drank some water, which I hadn't yet. And so I was like, okay, I can see how maybe I'm neglecting my needs, and I'm gonna try to get some water, stand up, like hopefully increase my blood pressure. And it was a scary moment. And then, yeah, it took me like hours. I was like, oh, you know what? Now that I'm kind of starting to calm down, I should probably eat. And then I couldn't eat. And I'm like, this is how I used to live my life, actually. I'm kind of, feeling some type of way about the fact that I've gained a lot of weight over the last like 6 months. Um, but I used to just not be able to eat like that all the time. Yeah, I assume what happened is like I had the oh shoot, what is it called? I had the autonomic reaction that you sometimes have during like procedures, you know? Like this happens to people when they are getting a tattoo. Like they start doing the tattoo and a lot of people have this initial like, oh, like your blood pressure drops out, and that's why you sit down when you get a tattoo. And sometimes they even have you lie down when you get a tattoo because you'll have this like dizziness kick in. And typically, once that passes, for most people, you can resume the tattoo and that feeling never comes back. For me, I continue to have to actively fight that. And I have to like position my body in ways that like it enables me to fight back against that reaction. I also had it happen to me when I had the birth control put in my arm. Like she numbed me up with lidocaine, right? And even still, like, or maybe it was when she initially gave me the lidocaine. At some point in the process of that, I they were like, "How are you feeling?" She had me turning away. She was working on my arm, and she specifically was like, "You need to look that way. I'm gonna make you look at the wall the entire time I'm working over here." So I do not know what she was doing, but they were like, "How are you feeling?" And I was like, "I'm having a low blood pressure, I think, moment," because like I started to feel woo, and I'm like laying down even, and what they had me do was they had me bring my free hand up to my chest and clench my fist. And then they also had me, because I was laying down on my back, they had me bring my knees kind of up, like my feet were still flat on the table, but I brought my knees up. And that's like a body position that you can use to kind of fight back against that low blood pressure episode, which is happening like as a result of trauma, I am assuming. It's like your body going like, oh fuck. And it happens to people during panic attacks. Like this is what it's because your body is going like something is really wrong. And as far as I understand it, it's directing the blood to your inner organs as a means of like protecting your body. And so you lose some of the blood flow in your extremities, which is also why your hands sometimes tingle when you're having a panic attack. And sometimes my face will tingle when I'm experiencing like an episode, because it's like a blood flow issue. And it's kind of almost like, and sometimes my face would get numb if I were like deliberately hyperventilating, or not numb, but like tingle, But yeah, and it's crazy. Like the thing that bugs me about it and the thing that has me like still thinking about it is, first of all, I still keep feeling like, oh my gosh, am I about to have like a dizziness episode? If something like moves weird out the corner of my eye, I'm like worried about it right now. And it's crazy because it makes you feel unhealthy. Like I'm healthy. I'm very healthy. I have blood work done regularly. I have just started getting back into exercising regularly. I try to watch my diet. Like I have now incorporated like basically at least once a week now we do a vegetarian dinner, if not a vegan dinner. We've cut back a lot on red meat. Like, I care a lot about my health, and I'm trying to like do everything I can for my body. So to feel suddenly like I'm gonna pass out and like I'm dizzy and I think something might be wrong and I need to go to the hospital, right? Like those are kind of the things that go in to having that moment. It makes you feel so weak and so powerless. I have the other common reaction to tattoos where it just loosens you up and you tell your whole life story. Yeah. I am conversational. My tattoo artist, the guy that I've seen the last couple of tattoos, we just talk about like TV shows and video games and stuff. He's like in his 40s. He has kids, so it's not like we have a lot of life things in common. But there's plenty of like media to talk about, and I'm sure we've talked about politics a little bit too. Like he's chill. He's chill. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to him, or am I about to become one of those people who's like, I'm gonna travel back to my hometown to go to the tattooist that I've been to the last couple of times? Like, I don't know. I got these two by the same person. Or hold on, no. This one was by someone, I don't know who it was. I got these two by the same person. And then these two, yeah. So, like, I don't know if I'm about to become that person or if I'm just like, there's plenty of good artists up here where I live now. Anyway, that's not the original conversation I was trying to have. I'm trying to drive toward a point about how trauma, like, permeates your body in ways that are unexpected. Like, yeah, there's tons of great artists up here. I'm sure it's more expensive up here because the cost of living is just higher up here. So that's like something to consider. But it's like, also going to be expensive. It's like, I could just schedule a tattoo appointment for when I know I'm already going to be in town because I'm going to go visit family or something. It's not like I'm traveling specifically to go see my tattoo artist. But anyway, no, I am just finding it so frustrating because like I don't even actually think that like my disability is as bad as it has been in the past because my trauma was making it worse. And it's clear that I am not completely free of the trauma because of this reaction that I had, but I have worked through a lot of my trauma, and the life that I'm living now feels very safe and supportive. So I think that those things are kind of, helping. But like, I have crazy fear of abandonment, you guys. Like, it's so bad that it makes my body think I'm going to die. It's fucked up, And like, I don't know how, like, I don't even know if I'm ever going to be able to get rid of that reaction. Tunnel vision is so scary when I have a panic attack. Yeah, you're like losing blood flow to the fucking vessels in your fucking eyes or something. It's like, what is happening? It's so scary. Like, am I about to go blind? No. But I think that, like, just, I feel like I've been operating pretty well. I'm clearly still disabled by ADHD, and that's not something that trauma probably interacts with that much compared to other things. But yeah, abandonment trauma is crazy. Did you try EMDR? I haven't done very much EMDR. I had started working on it a little bit with a previous therapist who then quit her job. So, and then my most recent therapist, I did bring it up to her, but she was like, I don't have any training in EMDR. It's on the table at some point because I do sometimes like feel the impulse to do some of the things that I was taught, but I don't want to do it wrong. So I try not to. But like the way that it can make you just feel weak when I'm like, I know that I'm strong, but like a lot of people die suddenly even though they feel strong. Like there's, probably stuff that my doctor didn't test for. Like, yeah, we did blood work, but we didn't do any imaging, and it's like maybe we lost some, like we could have caught something in the imaging. And like I have a lot of health anxiety, and I think this is why I have health anxiety, because my body does a lot of fucked up things because of my trauma. And that's like it's such a difficult limit to run into because it's a limit that you feel like you should be able to work through, or like it's kind of your fault a little bit. And not like you originally gave yourself the trauma or whatever, but like it's something about your inability to simply overpower it with your will makes you feel like you are not doing enough to fix it. You know what I mean? Especially, because there's all this like, oh yeah, you calm your body down to do this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I managed to finally calm my body down after like a couple hours. And then finally, like, I spent some time with my partner because he asked to watch a movie with me, which I want to talk about. I will talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, just like, you feel like you should be doing something. and that it shouldn't be interrupting your day, and like why you're like convincing yourself, you're saying to yourself like, I know that I'm safe, like I know that whatever it was that made me feel like I was going to die is not actually happening, but your brain doesn't know the difference, and it's so frustrating. What's up, Luke? I set up the stream background is kind of mostly what it's referring to. Oh, I'm so sorry, Riffs. My initial reaction was kind of laughing because I relate to what you say. Like, yeah, every time I have an intense headache, I am absolutely convinced I have a brain tumor, especially with my family history and cancer. I don't have that specific one. I do get migraines sometimes, which is kind of scary initially because it's like I typically get a visual aura, like which is just like static in somewhere in my vision. Oh, and the most recent, not the most recent, one of the most recent migraines I had looked different than usual. Uh, like looked different than usual. Like I don't know how to like. Okay, so usually it's kind of in the middle of my vision, maybe off to the right a little bit, and it like kind of looks like static, like jagged, zigzaggy static in the middle of my vision. Just kind of like in that one spot, you know. Like if I'm looking, it'll be just right there in the middle of my vision. This one was over here instead, and it was both of my eyes. It was over here, and it looked like, you know, when you're looking at a swimming pool and you can see like the reflection of the sun off of the surface, and then also like the way that the light plays on the bottom of the pool, it looked like that. And I was like, I think I'm gonna die. And then I realized like, oh, I'm just, it's a migraine, it's fine. And like now I'm kind of thankful at least that I get these warning signs, because the most recent time that I started to get a migraine, I took some ibuprofen and I ate and I drank and I laid down and went to sleep, and then I was okay. And I even didn't really get like a full night's sleep that night, I'm pretty sure. But now sometimes I'll like look at a bright light and then I'll look away and I'll still have that after image that kind of sort of resembles like the static that I get when I have a migraine, and I'm like, is it coming? Like, is it happening again? Dying is not allowed. I know, I know. I'm doing my best. Check out Re-Regulated by Anna Runkle when you get a chance. She talks about the nervous system and trauma. Ooh, that's a good one. Hold up, let me look at that. What I ended up doing, because like I tried a lot of different things. I tried breathing, I tried stretching, like I tried looking at things and naming what I was seeing, and like it just wasn't hitting. And then finally what happened was I went into my bedroom and I got my like super fuzzy blanket, the kind of blanket, it's the texture that cats like to make biscuits on. And I just kind of laid there, and I like, so a lot of my body was touching it, and then I just kept running my hands over it, and actually I ended up opening my eyes so that I could really strongly correlate the sensation with what I was seeing, and that kind of helped dominate my thought process and grounded me, and that is what finally kind of helped me feel normal. And then of course like my partner came in and was started to talk to me, and that kind of helped finish it up. Weirdly once was having a static looking aura and I thought I was having a stroke. Right. Yeah, and it's not irregular for me to be like, that was a weird sensation, and then start doing things like this and like saying things to myself out loud to be like, can I still talk? You know, am I suddenly drooping on one side or whatever? Let me check my face in the mirror real quick. What was it that I was about to look up? Re-regulated. Anna Runkle. Okay, set your life free from childhood PTSD and the trauma-driven behaviors that keep you stuck. What a hell of a title of a book. Yeah, yo, these grounding exercises aren't hitting. Sometimes it doesn't, you know, because my brain wouldn't stop is the problem. So I had to find something that was like, I guess I just need tactile feedback. That's the lesson that I learned. Oh, that's so scary, Eric. Eric says my speech gets messed up from my migraine when the aura spreads across my brain, so that doesn't work for me. I'm so sorry. Also, something that I want to bring up briefly that I changed is like we should be streaming in 720. Can y'all confirm streaming in 720? And also, can y'all let me know whether the stream quality has been better this time than previous times? Because I'm trying to put off having to buy a new router. It seems like my router is maybe just kind of a huge piece of shit. So I was like, hopefully just pulling back to 720 will be enough to make sure that this is not stuttering. Because what was happening before is it was like freezing up and like stuttering and like dropping FPS and stuff. Better in the sense of no skips. Yes. Okay, that, I guess, is better. Tactile feedback is one of my things, so I have a fidget bag, and when I start to shut down, I grab something. Nice. At 720, it is 720. Okay, cool. Good. Mine automatically went to 360, but I do see 720 as an option. Okay, cool. Like, I haven't seen any skipping. It seems like it's pretty close. Okay. Because, yeah, I would rather not have to spend $150 right now. Haven't noticed any stuttering because I'm just listening. No worries. Man. I think also that I associate a lot of stress with being at my desk. So like, I need something to do with my hands, maybe. I just found one of my fidgets and then I put it back in the box that it was in. But I'm like, I'm anxious today. That's so interesting. So I didn't really have a specific plan for today. I'm just kind of chit-chatting about whatever right now, which is normal for us. You know, normally we do at least the 1 hour at the beginning of kind of talking about whatever. I'm trying to decide fully, like, how much this stream is going to talk about politics, because I am definitely experiencing that thing again where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I'm not having fun. I'm really bummed out. Even though I'm not doing it to record, it is still often what we talk about. And, like, to be fair, I don't think that any sane person can just go through life and, like, not talk about politics at all. At least in this community. I don't feel like it's reasonable for us to just never ever talk about it. But what are we really going to say here about Trump saying that he's a king? Okay, like what are we doing about that? Like, okay, they signed an executive order saying that only Trump and the attorney general are allowed to say what is the law. Like, are allowed to dictate this is what the law is. Like what the fuck do you say? So it's making me feel like I should talk about other stuff. That's like, yeah, we can acknowledge that this stuff is happening, but I don't, like, how useful is it to spread the news? I mean, I guess I did have somebody tell me one time that he was saying, like, I'm the main way that he gets news about the United States because he was in the UK. I've been avoiding a lot of politics streams these days. Vosh literally said he's giving himself mental damage covering the news. I don't need to get the fire hose. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm backing off of it. But I'm like struggling to get back to the work for that reason. And listen, I've even been thinking about getting a job somewhere. Like, maybe it's just because, the minimum wage is higher here, and I feel like literally any job will feel more dignified if I'm making $15 an hour or more. Because that was not really in the cards for me doing like any old random job. I was hired on as an apprentice electrician and was making $15 an hour. That's insane. Like, that I had to like become skilled at something, and then like get $15 an hour even as an entry level position, that's crazy. So it just feels like anything would be more dignified. But it's like, I like being able to be creative and I like having this flexible schedule. It's just, like, how do you make it feel like it's worth it? How do you make it feel less like a burden to come here and talk to you guys about the news? And I think the answer is like you have to have a lot of balance in your life. You have to really, really, really focus on unplugging when you're not streaming. If you're talking about the politics stuff, like that's the thing that's so hard because when you talk about politics professionally, you do feel like it is part of your job to be on the pulse of everything that is happening daily. So even if you're just in your free time, technically, like some people would say, oh, you're not even really working, you're just scrolling Twitter. And it's like, but this is my job. My job is to know what people are talking about. My job is to read these Twitter threads and look at these polls and like listen to what people are saying. And like how, this news outlet says this party says this, like it is your job. And it is very difficult to put limits around because you reach for the phone and you just automatically press the Twitter button or you automatically press the Facebook button or the Instagram button, like whatever the thing is that you scroll, Reddit even. That's just like your default state of being for some of us, at least during some, when you're on the toilet, boom, you're on the social media, right? You're like waking up in the morning, but you're not ready to get out of bed. Boom, you're on the social media. So it's really, really, really hard to have boundaries around that. So it's like, okay, starting wage for IBEW apprentice is over $28 in Seattle. Nice. That does not surprise me. But also, to be fair, IBEW does mostly commercial work, and at that time, I did not want to do commercial work, and now I still feel like the particular health issues that I have do not lend well to being an electrician full time, which is sad, but it's whatever. I have other skills. Being an electrician also doesn't really fit in perfectly with my self-image. Having the freedom to create and write and be an artist is kind of, more in line with my feelings and gives me a lot of extra time and energy to contribute to a community, which I would like to do. And also gives me the free time to like garden, which if I had a full-time as an electrician, I would struggle a lot with. Also, a lot of commercial work through the union, they want you to work overnight, and I will not do that again. Thank you, Riffs No Leads. I was ignoring that for a second because I wanted to finish my thought. Thank you so much for that $50 donation. Both of you who've donated today, extremely generous. Thank you so much. Some sexy moolah for the sexy streamer. Now give it a cut. Thank you, first of all. Boom. Just like an extra little guns for you. And yes, I will go bother him. He's going to be mad at me. He's not in here right now. So I'm going to have to go physically get him. Is it mainly physical? The 06 classification is mainly communications work. Even communications can be pretty difficult. Like, just running wires through a building sometimes involves like getting up in the attic. And if it's summertime, like you're going to be really upset because, or I'm going to be really upset because it's hot as fuck in an attic. And also the postural position of being flat on my belly makes my heart go insane. I'll go get the cat and be right back. I will have you know that he was in fact sleeping. So this is... Hello, Mr. Baby. Are you good? Oh my goodness. He's like, if I love on you, maybe you will let me go? Yeah? Is that the logic? Hello, baby. There he is. There's the cute little man. Hello. Oh, thank you. Very much. I have conditioned him to, like, sometimes when he smushes his face against my face, I put him down. So that's why he does that. Hello, pretty boy. Oh, thank you. You're good. Nom him? You wish me to nom him? Oh, he's like, no, please. Hello. Oh my god, that's my nipple. Please don't. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. They are angry this week. Okay, you ready? Okay, hold on. Be careful. Hold on. There we go. Man, yeah, I got my nips pierced back in November, and they are angry this week. It's like, good gracious. He is a cutie. He's such a good boy. We love him. He needs to lose weight. Truly. Oh, hold on. Yeah. So yeah, that's my thing with him right now is I'm like, man, how do you make like a 14-year-old cat lose weight? It's very difficult. My void be clawing the fuck out of my nips like it's no big deal. I mean, he does. Like, he'll grab and I'm like, stop it. He's like he's pretty gentle, all things considered. Is that normal for black cats? I feel like I've seen people talk about black cats being very gentle and sweet. Whereas, like, the orange ones are crazy. You know, everybody knows. That is a legit problem if some positions cause health problems. Yeah. I mean, so I feel like my symptoms have been a lot better since I moved because I have a disability called POTS, if you guys didn't know. Missed Cato. Oh, so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't hold him any longer. He was getting really annoyed with me. POTS is postural orthostatic tachycardia. So, like, the definitional part of it being related to body position. Yeah, like, so if I lean over, like, if I, lean my body over and my torso is kind of, like, flat, my body is like, it does not like that. I have several dishes named after your disability. Me too. What a coincidence. Buy a dog that chases cats. That would be terrible. I do wonder if maybe getting him a kitten would, increase his energy usage. Hi, you're back? I thought you would be mad at me. This cat doesn't hold a grudge for fucking anything. Oh, yeah? You make a noise? I don't think you can hear him. But yeah, that would be so mean. Okay, black cats are either sweet as hell or an absolute menace. Okay, maybe they're crazy when they're young, but then they get sweet when they're older. My cat has always been sweet. Get a dog that cuddles cats? I don't want a dog. Not yet. If I have, like, a place he meow or squeak, he goes, Mah! That's what sound he makes. He goes, and he also goes, just like doing an impression of my cat while he's right there listening to me. Yeah, I'm making fun of you. What are you gonna do about it? Dogs are really tough pets. They are very difficult to attend all the needs of, I imagine. So I kind of imagine liking, Bean will sometimes just straight up squeak. This one does not squeak. I thought all cats were murderous sociopaths. Nope, they're sweet babies that just want to sleep all day. Depending. I guess some of them are murderous sociopaths, but orange cats are more like they share one single brain cell among the entire orange cat population. Sure. They have to take turns. dogs are really tough pets. Yeah, I imagine, okay, like I can kind of maybe see myself getting a dog that's more of a pet to, well, maybe not so much of a pet as it is like at very minimum a service dog level of training, who will like come with me and mostly just be a companion so that if I so choose I could go maybe for like a hike by myself. Not a very crazy intense hike, because I am personally not a huge fan of putting myself in danger for extended periods of time. But right, if I wanted to go for like a 1 mile hike or something and I had a dog, who like could, just kind of serve as, okay, if there's a bear or something, he's gonna bark at the bear. And then, like, okay, if there's a person being weird, he's just gonna not be weird at me because he sees the dog, you know? Uh, but that's gonna require a lot of work, a lot of training from me. And then the other situation in which I might get a dog is for the purposes of, like, protecting the other animals I have that live outside. So getting, a type of dog that doesn't mind not really being a pet. Like, I don't know, like mostly not being allowed in the house kind of thing. Uh, which there are breeds that are like that. They're made, they're bred for it. So they don't really, they kind of like, they're like, whatever, I don't want to be pet. Don't touch me. I'm trying to watch my flock right now. Like, they're working dogs. I want a bunny. Bunny health is a lot more finicky than most pets, but they aren't as high energy as dogs. Bunnies have so much attitude. It's so funny to me. They do this. They do that thing where they be like, they thump. They're like, Bish, on the ground. They get so frustrated. It's hilarious. But yeah, some places, they're considered an exotic pet. When I was looking for apartments and rentals and everything, like, so many different landlords and management companies limit you to either a dog or a cat. Or like you could, you two of each maybe. Or sorry, two of either one. But a total maximum of two. Most rentals, it seems like. Uh but where things like fish, lizards, bunnies, tarantulas are considered exotics and you're not allowed to have one, which is so weird. I wonder if it's like an insurance thing. Good night in a box. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your night. Maremma sheepdogs are good dogs for the outside thing. Okay. And then there's the vet thing too, because I don't know if most vets do bunnies or if you'd have to find like an exotic. It's not nearly as bad as if you have a bird or a lizard or something. They're still mammals. It's still like functionally the same systems. But I don't know if you'd be able to get, because I know that ferrets, for example, have to be, they have to be treated by like as an exotic by a vet. And God, it's expensive to have a ferret. I really wanted a ferret when I was in high school. And here's what my dad did. And I do think this was brilliant. He told me to write a 1-page paper about how much, like, basically what goes into caring for a ferret. What kind of cage would it need to have, vet bills and stuff like that. And basically, I was reading that you should have like $1,000 in your savings account at all times. Be prepared for a weird health issue that's going to cost $1,000. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to get a ferret then. I don't think bunnies count as exotic. Baphomet says bunnies do require specialized care. Okay. They have health concerns that most other pets don't. They are fragile critters. It's, they weren't really made to live very long, I can imagine that rabbits, obviously in captivity versus out in the wild, like, cats live more than 20 years in captivity, and then like the average age is maybe like 5 for outdoor cats, super low, if it's even that high, the average, because the kittens really drag down an average. Children really drag down the average when we're looking at average lifespans. But yeah, like I'm assuming that rabbits in captivity live longer, but that doesn't mean that they weren't like, they're a part of the ecosystem that needs to reproduce itself quickly because of how quickly it gets nerfed by like coyotes and hawks and stuff. Normal-sized rabbit breeds live like 8 to 15 years, if I remember correctly. Yeah, in captivity. Ari says, as a homeowner, bunnies have to chew. They can and will chew and destroy wood and drywall if they're not provided with stimulation, I assume. Uh, so Ari is justifying barring certain animals from being in the home. I mean, the thing is, though, that, like, in this society, for a lot of people, their pet is the closest thing they will ever have to a child. And you're not, like, barring people with children from being in your place, even though kids have a tendency to pee where they're not supposed to and draw on the walls and knock things over and break things by accident. You know what I mean? Is like, but I guess that just goes to show, like, if you're not legally required to do something as a person who owns capital in this country, like, you won't do it. You know? Like, you're legally obligated to lease to a woman with a child, so you will, or maybe find a different reason to deny her. But that's typically what happens. Is like they just come up with another reason to deny you. Oh, we had another candidate who had a better credit score than you, or whatever, right? But yeah, it's like if you're not legally obligated to do something, even though the risk to your property is roughly the same with, like, or let's say just a rabbit versus a kid, um, but you're not legally obligated to accommodate somebody who has a rabbit because their lives are worth less, you know? Snakes, people are sometimes dumb, and depending on where you live, some idiot will try and bring some venomous snake inside as a pet. Fair, I guess. Fish, a lot of people want to have those big tanks with all sorts of fish and plants, and you run the risk of water damage if it ever falls. Yeah, but, like, yeah, you run the risk of water damage when the kid decides to go crank the fucking the taps on, like, every tap in the house. Like, you know, we've all seen that movie. Like, any given movie where that happens. I don't have a particular one in mind. The age for bunnies is 8 to 12 on average, but apparently the oldest was 18. That boy could vote. The voting bunny. First ever. Kitty says, I'm always stuck thinking about jackrabbits. They still only live about 1 to 2 years when wild, but they are wicked strong and will scratch up your shit. Desert animals are wild. Yeah, I mean, jackrabbits aren't a pet, though, right? You know? Like, some of these animals have been domesticated. I stuffed my Legos down the toilet and now there is water all over the floor. Fucking true. Or, like, how about a teenager who's flushing his cum socks down the fucking toilet? Right? I don't know. It just seems silly. Like, yeah, you're risking, even with the adults, having them, like, yeah, they signed the agreement, but they're still gonna do stuff that they shouldn't be doing and damage your property and stuff. Like, would we not lease to someone who had, like, an adult living there, like one of the roommates was an adult with, like, severe Down syndrome or something? Are you like, I'm going to discriminate against this person because they are more likely than average to do property damage? Or what about that, you know, the idea that, like, oh, black people are more likely to do property damage? You see what I'm trying to say here? It's like, it's just that animals are not a protected class. And so it's like, you can just arbitrarily say you can't have one. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know how my landlord feels about rabbits, but they're going to have to deal with it because they leased to a bunny therian. True, you've got at least one bunny in there already. Oh no, Riffs No Leads. That's awful, and I'm not going to repeat what you said. I do agree that there are a lot of people that purchase pets without understanding what they actually need. Like, if you think that you are going to get a rabbit and that it's just going to live in a cage all day, that's not humane conditions to keep that animal. It's not humane conditions. And people will do stuff like get a turtle and not give it a proper light or not a proper heat lamp. And man, yeah. Um, I have a lot of respect for people who put the effort in to be like really, basically like a really good breeder is what I'm trying to get at here. Cause I knew somebody back home who kept like, the main reason why I had seen them recently was because they have a bunch of isopods. Like I gave them some of my isopod cultures because I was like, you know, you'll be able to do something with these. You can sell these or breed them or put them in a terrarium or something. I don't care. And they also have lizards and like rats and snakes and stuff. And I have so much respect for people who do that. Oh, and also fucking Arden does that on Transatlantic Call-In Show. I know 2 people who breed exotic animals. Interesting. I guess it's one of those things. It's like, you know, as a trans person, actually, I know 3 people who breed. I guess, yeah, rats are like exotics, kind of. Yeah, I don't think that that person is doing it currently, but I know 3 people who have at some point recently been breeding animals to sell. And yeah, so much work goes into it. And all 3 of them are trans, which, as I was about to finish that thought, because trans people have a difficult time keeping regular jobs, we tend to do other things. We tend to find ways to work for ourselves, work at home. Independent business owners, really. So, yeah, that's really interesting. And because it requires so much of your time. If you're keeping reptiles and you're breeding your own rats, like, okay, great. You have a whole other set of responsibilities with maintaining the rats. You have to like clean the cages and put the shit back together. And yeah, it's a ton of work. And then Arden like travels to expos and stuff and sells her animals. It's really cool. Haha, haha, making jokes about Therians and me using the word breed. Ah, ha, 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 I get it. Eric says, where I live, it's actually very hard for landlords to evict over pets. If they are not causing damage or safety issues, it is near impossible, regardless of there being a no pet clause in the lease. Nice. I know some places have really strong tenant protections too. So just living in one of those places is good. Even hamsters. Hamsters actually require more space than people think. They cannot be in those tiny ass cages at the pet stores. Right. And it makes it so hard to take the advice. Like if you go to a pet store where you see they have beta fish in 1-gallon little things, you're like, okay, well, I guess if you're putting them in the 1-gallon ones, then you can't have very many at one time because it's not like you can put a bunch of beta in the same tank the way that you can with all the other fish that they have at pet stores. But you know, going to a pet store and like have the 2 small cages or the 2 small or the not quite oxygenated, you know, it's like a stationary thing with no bubbler. It's hard when they're like, oh yeah, do you have any questions? Like, not for you. I'm gonna need to go get more water soon. I'm having such a weird time. I'm like, I keep being thirsty and I'm still having symptoms. Maybe I'm just short on salt today. Oh, don't even get me started on the beta fish in the tiny ass cups. That's crazy. I never ask people at pet stores anything. I've worked retail and I know how much they care. True. Bubbler sounds like a fish slur. That's funny. I'm just gonna get a little table salt real quick. My boyfriend used to be a beta feeder. Sorry, a beta breeder. Jesus, a beta feeder. I'm gonna kill myself. And seller, but would refuse to sell to people who were not getting a full tropical tank setup and would do everything possible to promote good fish keeping ethics. We actually bonded over our mutual passion against fish abuse. Nice. That's awesome. I so I yeah, I'm now 1% more salty. I hope not. That means that I have 1% more salty than I was before. I guess whatever. Anyway, I'm not trying to think about statistics right now. I have the beginnings of a new terrarium. It's almost like a kind of fishbowl shape terrarium. I had stuff in it before, got rid of it. I now put some soil in there. But what I need to do is I need to catch some springtails, which I intended to do today. I might do it this evening, I guess. I don't know how long I need to leave the thing outside to catch some. I guess overnight would be best. Anyway, I'm going to try to catch some springtails tonight. Are we discussing the breedability of betas versus alphas now? That was not my intention, but you do whatever you're going to do in the chat. So I need some springtails because the springtails will eat any mold that's in there. And I'm pretty confident that there is some amount of mold spores in there because they're everywhere. So I want the springtails in there. And then I'm going to go outside and I'm going to collect moss from around near where I live because there is so much. And then I'm going to try to find some way to put it in there, you know, and make it pretty. And I'll have a new terrarium and it'll be lovely. I was also considering setting up a plants-only aquarium. No worries, Kelly. Happy to help you remember. But yeah, I guess I'm like, oh yeah, I should research that more. But that's also money I don't need to spend right now. And it's not like gonna go in the stream background, so I can't even justify like, okay, yeah, I could justify buying the shelves because they're helping. they're helping with the vibes. I haven't even gone over what's over here either. I can. We can do that. I'm gonna bring this as far over here as it goes. Okay. So this is a dragon that's made out of metal. It was a bunch of flat pieces of sheets of very thin metal. And I cut it out and I bent everything into shape and I followed the instructions and I put it together. And now he's there. This is a little tiny paper origami dragon that my friend Julie made for me at the Renaissance Festival. This is a dragon egg that I 3D printed. It's actually based off of the one that was Daenerys's first egg, so it is kind of worn around the top, like as though the stone had worn some of the scales smooth. And then this is a clear plastic dragon puzzle that I think I got for Christmas at some point. This right here is a teeny tiny little dragon that I was given as a gift. And then a bunch of little, like, glass bottles. One of the glass bottles has some of my cat Lucifer's remains in it. And then up here, I have a teeny tiny little mushroom that I crocheted. I don't know if it's going to stay there or not. And then right here is a skull-shaped glass that used to have alcohol in it. And that's what's going on there right now. So the general idea is to have stuff and then over here this has like flowers and some mushrooms and a death's head moth on it. And so the goal back here is to kind of have a mixture of the dragons with the macabre and like some moss and like make it look sort of cave-ish maybe. You know, maybe I'll drape some curtains across over the top to make it look like there's, you know, more of a shape around. I don't know, like framing it a little better. I don't know. Anyway. Yes, the PNW, the Pacific North Wet, where if you leave something sit for longer than 2 or 3 days, it will start growing algae/moss. True. Yay. Beta live to just be hot and left alone. True. Buffalo Bill was so real for keeping death's head moths. Very pretty critters. They're very cool. Yeah. I don't think I like them as much as a lot of people do. I don't know, there's kind of there's a type of person who likes death's head moths and like moths and gets like the tattoos of them. And I just feel like I'm not affiliated with that person. I don't know. I would really love to get a skull, like an animal skull or several animal skulls to put back here. But I don't have that kind of money right now to buy like processed skulls. I don't fucking know. Like maybe I could look on some of the like oddities websites, but I don't think that that's the kind of thing that I should spend a lot of money on right now. Like if this is good enough for now, then that's cool. That's good enough for now. I probably don't need to tweak anything on this for a little bit. I like a the skulls, but that moth is kind of whatever. Yeah, I'm honestly not even that big on like human skulls. I think human skulls are boring. And maybe that's part of why I don't like the Death's Head moth because it just looks like a human skull on it. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's kind of played out as far as scary stuff with bones. Like, okay, I prefer animal skulls. Processed skulls sounds funny. You know what I mean? Like it's had the skin picked off of it. You can get some pretty cheap on Etsy depending on what quality and cleanliness you want. Yeah. Oh, and I also oh yeah, I think they're over there. I was like, "Oh, I should also see about maybe putting some of the antlers up." But I don't know where they are right this moment. But I have like some antlers that I could put up there. I don't know, skulls, that kind of thing, like animal skulls. I have some fur, and I was like, I don't really know that there's a way to get fur on this wall. Maybe if I get some skulls, then I can take some fur and like stick it on the wall and then hang like the skull over top of it. I don't know. I don't know. Silence of the Lambs is such a funny movie to me because like I know it probably would have been a lot more scary with the culture of the 90s, but by the time I watched it, the Buffalo Bill dance scene, I watched the Buffalo Bill dance scene and thought, "Damn, she's kind of serving cunt." True. Yeah, I want to talk about old movies, but I would like to go to the restroom first. So when I get back, we're going to talk about old movies and like the fact that I watched one recently and you know, maybe we'll play a game or something. I don't know. Bye. Okay, I'm back and I have more water. Oh man. Okay. So we just watched Tremors, which I like knew of the existence of the Tremors movies, but I had never watched them. Like I back when the Sci-Fi Channel was still called Skiffy, like sci-fi, Uh I knew of those movies, but I had never watched them. So my partner and I sat down yesterday and we watched Tremors, the first one with Kevin Bacon, and then we did end up watching the second one, Tremors 2, Aftershocks, which I paid a lot less attention to. But I think it turns out that I just really like watching movies. We watched Avatar: The Way of Water recently, and I was like, oh, I think that I like watching bad movies. But I think so qualify that. I like watching movies when I'm allowed to talk throughout the movie. Uh, like if my partner got annoyed with me for making comments during a movie, I don't even know that there would be any point to watching a movie. Like I have things I want to say. I want to comment on it. I want to say, oh, that wouldn't be realistic, or I want to say, oh, they shot that with minis. Like, you know, I have things that I need to say. yeah, but watching movies from the 80s and 90s is so funny because I feel like making movies was so easy back then. Like that, you know, I think, and I guess every art form kind of goes through all these iterations of what defines that genre at the time, right? We see it in art, you know, if you take any art class in high school or whatever, you'll see like, okay, so throughout history, this period. Oh, good. Excellent, Gay Fesh. Love to hear that. Uh, you'll see like, okay, here's the postmodern, whatever, here's the impressionists, whatever, and there's like a timeline where the kind of art that is made changes. And I think that it's same with film, where you have stuff that like movies used to be shorter, you know, or the pacing of movies used to be different. Certain shots were popular at one time or another, and now some of that stuff is like played out and it doesn't work anymore because it's cliche or because it's evocative of a particular time. Sometimes using those kind of shots in a modern movie helps place it in a context of a different time when movies were shot more like that. You know, like something that takes place in the 80s maybe be shot like something that was filmed in the 80s to kind of evoke a deeper sense. Now, it'll still be modernized to an extent for the modern audience, but you know, there are like different stylistic choices you can make. And so watching Tremors, you notice things like there used to be a thing, and I think this is kind of carried through into more recent movies as well, actually, when people there's like an exposition character in an action movie, in a horror movie, in a disaster movie. There's an exposition character, and a lot of the time in older movies it's a scientist. So in Tremors you have a she's a grad student studying seismology, and they keep asking her questions about like, why is it doing that, like, well, you know, like what's happening, and she's like, I don't know. Sometimes she's like, I think maybe it might be this, or like, oh, we should do this. And so she is kind of coming up with some things, but I'm like, dude, she's 24. You know, she's a grad student. She's 24. So chill out on like making her the expert on this. But I think that, you know, using the scientist character as a person who's like, oh, that's an expert, we can ask questions and then I can explain things to the main characters and the audience. But then there's also stuff we laughed about this. My partner pointed it out when, so there's I guess technically it's like a three main characters kind of thing. But so there's Val, played by Kevin Bacon. There's Earl. Yeah, why do you keep asking me? Exactly. Earl, who's Bassett, I think is the last name. And then there's Rhonda, the woman, whose name I don't remember the actress's name either. Why am I saying this? So, okay, yeah, so they kept asking her. What was the next thought that I was having? I'm thinking about tropes. I'm thinking about repeated things. Oh, yeah. So in one scene, the three of them are talking, and Earl is like, whatever, da da da, blah, 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 that makes me so angry. And we were like, wow, top tier exposition, my dude. Just like laying your feelings out there. And then my partner was like, that reminds me of the episode of Futurama with the devil in it, where he's the like Fry writes a play, and the devil's like, you can't just have your characters state what they're feeling. That makes me angry. I was like, all right, you could get away with crazy shit back in the 90s. Like, that makes me so angry. Like, all right, you're supposed to show, not tell. It's just hilarious from a writing perspective of nowadays. It's like, you wouldn't do that. That's so funny. And then two, in Tremors 2, something that I thought was very, very funny. This is not like a trope or anything, but it's just like the, you know, the kind of writing shit that you could get away with back then. In Tremors 2, the concept is like, okay, there's new graboids, is what they're called. There's new graboids in Mexico, and this CEO hires one of the guys from the first movie who survived to come help. Can you kill these graboids? They're fucking up my operations. And there's a young guy with that Mexican guy who seems to have been operative in tracking down Earl to be in the second movie, you know. It's like, oh yeah, Val said no. So for some reason, Kevin Bacon didn't want to come back to the project. for, to reprise his role. And but there's this young guy, and Earl's like, "Who the hell even are you?" And he's like, "Whatever. I live in New York. I go to work. I come home, and I fucking watch TV. Whatever. TLDR." And I just thought that was the most hilarious expositional decision that they made, like to just go, "Yeah, whatever, blah blah blah," because it's basically like saying, we recognize that the audience doesn't care about this dude's backstory. We recognize that the audience is not going to be emotionally invested in this character. He's just some fucking kid to like tag along and help Earl, I like watching movies. I think just in general, I think it's a lot of fun. And my partner has been asking me to do it a lot. I think partly just because we have had, overlapping free time and we usually don't. Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. The cab driver buffoon. Is he a cab driver? Yeah. He's all like, "I'm so obsessed with you, Earl." And then he actually gets into the situation with the graboids and he's like, "Oh no. Why don't we go check on him?" And he's like, "The fuck are you talking about? Go check on him. Just sit your ass down." It's funny, hilarious. Yeah, loved it. Loved it. Good movie. I don't even know if it was a good movie or if I just was like, this is fun. Because like I said, when we watched Avatar The Way of Water, what I discovered about myself is that I like watching bad movies. At some point, I was like, I think this is a bad movie. And then later I was like, I just like bad movies, I think is what's happening. Oh, Riffs No Leads. I've stumbled on Riffs No Leads. It's one of their special interests, I guess, because they know all the quotes from these scenes that I'm mentioning, and they're resisting the urge to post the quotes. Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was a good time. Hey, Heathen Granny, what did I do? I set up. You maybe have not been here. I've been streaming again at this new space for like several weeks now, and the background has just been a blank wall up until finally this week. I figured it out. Oh my goodness. Oh man. The jiggle physics. Because I'm standing. That's crazy. Okay, anyway. My partner loves the Tremors series only because it's such a bad series of movies. Yeah, I mean, I think like the first one was a solid movie. I really enjoyed it. Like genuinely, I really liked it. I like older movies, I think, because they're simpler and it's easier for you to notice, like, oh, well, that is connected to that. That is connected to, oh, they're showing that for that reason, whatever, like it's just more streamlined. But I genuinely enjoyed it. And then I get the impression that the other ones are just like capitalized. There are 7. There are 7 Tremors movies. The most recently made one came out in 2020. What are you doing making these movies still? That's 30 years. The first one came out in 1990. Have you ever seen Spawn? I need to rewatch that movie. The first time I watched it, I was expecting to like it. And so I was disappointed. But I feel like going back and rewatching it, knowing it's bad, would be better. I've never seen it. No. I've heard of Spawn. I've heard that it's like of middling quality. I don't know anything about it though. So I'm open to it. At least it's not Saw. Oh my god, Saw. I don't like those movies. Tremors 3 through 7 is all slop. So you're coming out here saying that, well, you've got all the quotes in your head for the second movie, so I'm guessing that you like the second movie. Thank you, Melody. Melody says, I love the new space. At the fancy nail salons in LA, the tiny fish who eat dead flesh from your feet are sadly thrown in the toilet after only one client. People break my heart. What? Is it like because they can't guarantee the sanitization of like, it's a fish. What do you like? You can't guarantee whether it's going to be sanitized in the first place, much less between customers. That's so fucked up. The second movie is fine. The first one is 10 out of 10. Fair enough. Middling is what happens when a human and a halfling have a baby. True. Baphomet says at least Saw is horror / slasher slop, and I love me some slasher slop. Fair, sure. I mean, the first movie is like honestly more of a psychological horror than anything, and then it becomes more of like just gruesome. But it does feel like the first movie plays more on the emotionality of it. Very different from its subsequent sequels. My severely deviated septum doesn't want me to breathe. I only watched Saw 10 and only to review it for my channel, and I legit almost walked out. Yeah, that's funny. Like, when you get to that point where you've made 10 of a movie, you stop it. Like, why? When I'm having to Google how many of those you made before you stopped, like, Jesus Christ, man. How many Jason movies? How many fucking Freddy Krueger movies? Like, just put it back on the shelf at some point. Please, put it back on the shelf. I haven't seen past Saw 5. That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh, how many Pirates of the Caribbean movies did they end up making? I knew that they made a fourth one that I think it must have been on the television during like a family get together or something, but I've never sat down to watch it. You have a deviated septum too. Condolences. I assume. I'm like, I don't know why the fuck else I can never breathe through my nose. Like, oh my god, it's frustrating. I have to wear one of those things on my nose so I can breathe at night. Ugh. They made 5 Pirates movies. Okay, cool. Which, you know, we say that, but they're gonna make more of them. To be fair, though, no need to shit talk Pirates of the Caribbean. No, listen. Stop making them after the third one. And even then, the second one has a super racist second act. It's very weird. The third one, I honestly like the third one even like better than the second one, but like stop making them after that point. You've like wrapped up as best as you can. Like you started with these 2 characters and you wrapped everything up for them. Stop making movies. The first movie is perfect, okay? The first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is perfect. We can just leave that there. The second one ensured I would never watch the third. Yeah. Honestly, I just like really love the performance from Bill Nighy. Sometimes I will watch a movie just because I like an actor or like that I like the performance from that actor, and that's one of them where I'm like, I'll watch all of the Pirates movies because I like Bill Nighy. The Jason movies only get better though, but you have to know what you're getting into. Okay, fair. Original Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy is my childhood, says Baphomet. But like, this might be my hottest film take, but I kind of love 4 and 5. You're allowed to feel that way. I don't think I'm gonna, I don't know. It would probably take a lot for me to watch them. I'm like, I need to watch fucking episodes 1 through 3 of Andor, and I haven't done it yet. I'm like, I really have to do it though, like soon. Because I might need to watch them more than once to be able to get my head on straight about it. Yes, the second Pirates movie had a lot more slapstick bullshit in it, for sure. Alan Rickman makes the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie watchable. Yeah, there you go. To be fair, I like 5 mostly because of Javier Bardem's performance. Javier Bardem, I feel like I know that name. Where is he one of those guys who looks like another actor a lot? He's got like a doppelganger. Javier Bardem has a doppelganger that I frequently get him confused with. And I can't think of who it is right now. Fifth Pirates of the Caribbean would be mid at best if not for him. There's like another actor who looks a lot like Javier Bardem. And I have a tendency to get them confused. I don't know though. What if I just type Javier Bardem doppelganger? It's, yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's who it is. They look a lot alike. I will say I really did like the Davy Jones antagonist in Pirates 2. Yeah, no, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's Bill Nighy, and his performance is just stellar. Anton, no emotions and absolutely terrifying in No Country for Old Men. His hair is so fucking weird in that movie. But it's probably part of why the character is so weird. I have absolutely no idea how to title streams if we're not talking about the politics and the world ending. You know, like we're here talking about movies, and I might even start up a game, and like I don't really want to become, I don't want to get set back, right? This is the problem. I don't want to get set back because I have been at this point where I can have like 70 to 80 concurrent viewers at a time. And then uh, when I am talking about movies and stuff, there are fewer people. Have you ever watched Stargate SG-1? Yeah, I used to watch it when I was a kid. I don't really remember it very well. I remember really liking um the guy with the glasses. Like he was like the science officer or whatever. But I haven't watched it in a really long time. Watched SG-1 off and on as a kid. I mean, yeah, it was another one of those things where it's like probably an adult around me was watching it, and I was just like, oh, I'm here. What else is going on in the world? Is there anything that has happened that I should know about? We're about to find out if my internet and my computer can handle streaming a game, because I want to make a brand new character. But I want to just do something in the background and like be talking to you guys about something else. I just don't really have something going on that I have in mind to talk about. I was also thinking like I could be doing a game and we could be listening to something. Like someone recently shared an episode of the Alt-Right Playbook to the stream recommendations channel, and I was like, those kind of videos, you probably could just listen to it. So if we listened to it and occasionally paused it to respond, man, I think I might actually need a third monitor in order to do that smoothly, though. God, I'm really there. I'm there, finally. I'm at that place where I need a third monitor. But I can't be spending money right now. Okay, what realm do we want to be on? I want to stick with classic. Really, are low population servers the only ones that are available? Or is it just low right now? That's so weird. Definitely want it to be a PvP server. Vertical third monitor. I know, yeah. I guess third monitor, if there's a vertical monitor, the vertical monitor is where stream shit is gonna be. So that I can, I mean, yeah. Like, is there a way for me to pop that out? I can pop out the YouTube chat, okay. But, okay, cool. Anyway, good. Good to know. Excellent. Later, Riffs. Have fun. I had the weirdest, like, there's a bug in my hair moment. Is there a bug in my hair? I'm gonna freak out. No. There's no bug in my hair. Okay. Almost freaked out. So glad that we didn't. Oh, man. I just think it would be funny to make a character on a server called Bigglesworth. That doesn't sound... I don't know. I guess... Yeah. I'm just trying to decide which server I'm gonna make a brand new character on. WoW. Again, just so that I can be doing something in the background while we talk. And what is in the Discord server? Someone had sent something. Oh, I guess we should talk about this real quick. Oh, first of all, a law passed in Kansas. I'm pretty sure it's because they had the majority to override the governor's veto. They passed a law in Kansas that says, like, you're not allowed to affirm gender expansive youth in any way, including acknowledging their identity, if you work for the state in any capacity. So I'm really glad that I don't live there anymore, because I'd be really upset. And I'm a lot less upset now that it doesn't directly impact me. It still feels bad, but less bad. And yeah, no, I got that. Great. Wow, my brain just emptied it out again. What was I just saying? It has nothing to do with anything that was just happening either. Let's just stick with what's familiar, I suppose. I'm just making a character right now. Oh, yeah, shit, sorry. Kansas, yeah, I would feel really motivated to, like, fix shit if I still lived in Kansas right now, but I don't. However, some other bullshit happened in Missouri that I think we should talk about real fast. Tomorrow in the Missouri House of Representatives, the Committee on Children and Families will discuss a bill that's being branded as a reform to the adoption system. However, in reality, this would require the state to track pregnant women in a database. The division is required to make and maintain a central registry of each expecting mother who is at risk for seeking an abortion, and a central registry of each prospective adoptive parent who has successfully completed certain screenings, background checks, home studies. Basically, what they're presenting it as a way of, like, oh, we're going to pair up expecting mothers with who don't want to keep their babies with prospective adoptive parents. But yeah, what it is creating a registry of women who are pregnant, or people who are pregnant, which is fucking terrifying. That's insane. And I don't know what else you can say about it. This is why I'm like, oh, I'm moving on. I'm talking about other things. We're going to do other things from now on because, like, I'm like, okay, let me just acknowledge how crazy that is. Bye. Like, you know, I don't know. Okay, I don't like that face. Okay, I'm starting a druid. I'm just gonna make a druid. What should I name the druid? What should I name it? It's a night elf druid. We're playing WoW Classic. Should I name it Splurg? Or, Marie Antoinette? Or, well, a druid uses nature magic if you're caring at all about what it actually is going to do. And probably what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna level it as a druid feral cat / bear. Whatever, it doesn't really matter, but just for your viewing pleasure, like, that's what I'm gonna do with it. You should play on the anniversary servers. Why? I don't want to play TBC. I'll play when they eventually open up servers that are gonna stay on Wrath. I'm playing WoW Classic on the anniversary servers because those are gonna go back around to TBC and then presumably to Wrath. I want them to stop I don't want to progress beyond Wrath of the Lich King. So if they take the current anniversary servers and run them up through Wrath, having not said that they were going to do that initially, I feel like they're just going to keep progressing them, and I don't want to progress past Wrath. I want to stay on Wrath. Montgomery the Third. Okay. I wonder if I can even do that. I'm gonna have to accept whatever I say. Like, I could just call it Tremors. That would be a weird name. I could call it Bulbasaur. We could go with, I don't know. The scientific name for grizzly bear is horrible bear when translated to English. It is. Yeah, it is. Horrible bear. 3 characters in a row not allowed. Oh, okay. I figured that there was no spaces. I know that there's no spaces. I'm not that big of a goober. Big goober. Yeah, I know that it's PvP realm. I've picked a PvP realm on purpose. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Like, I've played this game before.
For 10,000 years, the immortal night elves cultivated a druidic society within the shadowed region.
The volume is really low, so I'm just gonna skip this. Hate. Yes, cancel the cinematic. Okay, great. Oh, man. So, yeah, this is supposed to be just, like, happening in the background while we are focused on other things. Okay, I don't need that there. So... Oh, no, I need to turn on all my action bars. There's, like, a fucking checklist every time you start a new character. You gotta turn everything back on. You gotta fucking turn on auto loot. You gotta... turn off sticky targeting, or turn on sticky targeting, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I'm very sad my local Joann's is closing. No! Oh, man. I went to a Joann going, oh, you know, I wonder if they're gonna have any clearance yarn, and they didn't, because I don't think that location is going out of business. I'm not sure, actually. I didn't check. But, like, I'm operating under the assumption that that particular one is not going out of business. Excuse me. But I was like, oh, it's funny. I'm, like, bummed out in the short term because I can't get any clearance yarn right now because I want some green yarn so that I can start making little patches of moss to put on the wall behind me and, like, to drape on things and, like, hang on stuff. And, you know, wouldn't it be funny to have even a little bit hanging off of the microphone or something? But, so it's funny to me. It's, like, sad in a short-term sense that I can't get cheap clearance yarn right this moment, but it is, I guess, better in a longer-term sense if you want to continue buying yarn. I'm leveling a feral druid right now. I'm level 42, trying to farm up 100 gold. And I'm not even going to spend it on my mount. Oh no, what are you doing? That is one thing about Classic, that it's like, yeah, it's kind of difficult. I mean, my partner seems to not be having very much difficulty making gold, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not, like, spending dedicated time farming and selling stuff, probably. You don't just make money easily while you're leveling. Maybe as a max level character, but whatever. Anyway. It's funny, because, like, I want to play WoW, but I don't really want to talk about WoW. Oh, man. And, like, maybe we should listen to something? Should we listen to an Innuendo Studios video and react to it? I don't know. Wait, no, do I even need to do this yet? No, I don't even need to do this yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, you're gonna spend it on a piece of equipment. Nice. I spend more money than I should on yarn, but I like to buy from our local yarn store and buy, like, local wool and alpaca yarns. Nice. Yeah, so actually that is on my list for, like, basically the next time I run any errands. I want to go to at least one fiber arts store. And I'm like, I'm not even necessarily trying to find one that I want to spend money at, but I'm trying to find one that I can, like, hopefully they have activities like social gatherings or classes or something. And it's funny because I'm like, I have no problem with potentially just, I could buy my yarn at fucking Walmart, but I'm not trying to buy, like, a lot of yarn. But I'm in that predicament where I do have a lot of yarn, like, more than I actually can fit in one easy location. And yet, I still don't have the right yarn. I was looking last night at maybe, you know, my partner, every time we walk past the yarn at, like, Walmart or something, he reaches out and he touches, like, the Bernat super soft cuddly one. And he's like, I love the texture of this. And so I was thinking about making him something, which will probably only require, like, 1 or 2 balls of yarn, you know, probably won't be crazy, but still, it is money that, like, my partner is looking for a job you all know that it's hard out there trying to find a job. So I'm kind of like carrying the ship right now. If that's any incentive to share your tax refund with me, please. Because yeah, we're gonna basically just like limping along on savings right now. So there's like, I would love to do that nice gesture, but I kind of can't afford to right now. That's the thing that sucks about being poor, and I think that a lot of people don't think about it that much. That I can't afford to be as generous as I would like to be, you know? And maybe this is part of what keeps poor people poor is that we want to give things to people. We want to make sure that everybody's needs are accounted for. So even though we don't have enough to be generous, we still are generous. It's just weird. Oh. Being poor is stupid. And the whole job search thing, you know, and that's part of also why I've been thinking about getting, at least getting a part-time job, if not like stopping doing YouTube and switching to full-time work, is that is like part of why I want to do it is because I'm like, okay, that would be a more guaranteed form of money instead of me kind of relying on people being charitable and whether or not you guys have money. But it's like so difficult searching for a job and trying to apply for places because every single place wants you to apply online. But we all know at this point that they are just using AI to search through the applicants, Like a person doesn't even see your application until like it's already been through at least one, if not several layers of AI scanning. So it's just really challenging in that way and kind of like degrading. And all it does to me with thinking about like watching my partner as he's, doing the whole job search thing is like it just makes me want to double triple down on being self-sufficient. I'm like, what else can I do from home? Can I finish setting up this office to be more soundproof? Or like, should I even get something smaller to create myself like a little booth here so that I can expand on the work that I do here? Like maybe I could do more voiceover work or something like that. Those are the kind of thoughts that I have because like the process of trying to find a job and then work for someone else. It's one thing if you're in a really skilled trade and you like your coworkers, that's kind of whatever. But if you just have to take any old job, if you're like, I don't have a particular skill and I'm just going to go ahead and fucking work at a gas station or work at a grocery store or something, like the process of that and then the type of work that you're expected to do and everything, it just feels so degrading to me. And I think it's better in a state with a decent minimum wage because then at least you're like, all right, well, at least I'm going to be making a decent amount of money at the end of this, even if I don't love my job. But man, in Kansas where the minimum is $7.25, it is brutal how frustrating and like soul-sucking it is to have to go through the process of applying for a job and then, having to work a menial low-level job. Which is why I ended up, and thankfully, like, I had a family member who was willing to pay the money. It was only $5,000 really for like 2 semesters of school, which is not that much, I feel. And like, I think that $5,000 even like included the cost of tools and books and stuff. So like, that's why I tried to learn how to be an electrician and then found out slamming into a wall hard that I physically can't do that kind of work, at least not full time. I could fix things in my own house, but I'm not going to be able to like be an employee, and that is really difficult when you're like, I'm doing the thing, I'm trying to like get better at having a normal job or whatever you want to call that. Trying to succeed at being an employee or trying to succeed at developing the skill. Like shit, if college were free, I probably would join college now. Like now would be a perfect time in my life, having just made a pretty significant move up here and everything, now would be the ideal time to like learn a brand new career or something. It's oh wait, I'm not in the right place. And what would that look like? But college isn't free, so it's not, it's a non-starter. It's not even a question I can really meaningfully engage with. Like, what would I do if I went back to college right now? I don't know. I mean, like, I can think about it, but what would be the point of that? I don't have the money to afford it. So I'm just going to have to take the skills that I have and try to expand on them where possible and save myself money where possible. I can hope that gardening will save me money in, like, okay, I'm paying $25 for or $25 to $50 or however much it is to have a garden plot. Oh, ding. And like, is that going to save me any money? I can hope that it saves me money. I don't know if it actually will. But, I'll shop at Walmart instead of shopping at a more expensive store, even though that means I'll probably get lower quality stuff, but like that's the kind of stuff that you have to do. Okay, I found, oh, nice. Wait, hold on. Oh, well, okay, well, that's probably better. Okay, where am I at now? Cool. Uh, oh, hey, there's another quest over here. But yeah, and like, being that I already basically have some form of stable income, I guess that helps a little bit, that I know I have a little bit of flexibility if I want to try doing something else. I'm like, okay, I'm still going to get money from Patreon kind of no matter what I do. I mean, not literally no matter what I do. If I stop posting entirely, then yes, people will quit that. And then yes, I do Takis and I get paid from that, and I'll get some amount of ad payout no matter what. But yeah, I don't know. There is that desire to just like keep plugging away and keep working at it, which is in and of itself unhealthy, trying to figure out new ways to monetize how you spend your time. Like, am I going to functionally do porn and like, take pictures for Fansly? Like, well, I'm not really happy with my weight because I've been gaining a lot of weight. And like, okay, well, maybe I'll spend more time exercising. Is there a way for me to make content out of exercising? Can I make content out of the garden, which I do plan to do? And like, all these different things that you're trying to think of different ways to. Was that person upstairs and I just lost my mind? And it becomes unhealthy. It's like I was talking about earlier with like when you do politics as your main job, and like, obviously I could continue specializing in that and continue investing in that. I just don't want to do so. It's hard to draw boundaries when you're an artist and you feel like you're messing something up by like, oh no, I have to go way upstairs. Oh no. That's annoying. But that like every moment of your time you could be doing something to make money is part of what makes it difficult to be self-employed, because you have to have a really strong sense of teaching yourself like when to do things and when not to do things, and like strong boundaries regarding like, I am not going to work past this time no matter what comes up. I'm not even going to look at my email past a certain time in the day. But then you have to hold yourself to that, and that's where it's difficult. Yeah, welcome to a much higher minimum wage. I wish I could send you more money. Listen, don't worry about it. Because like obviously, I mean, in a way it would be great to move away from the model where you're like reliant on people like being charitable and having money, right? But that requires taking sponsorships, and it requires um you know actively working on merch and constantly having new merch flow in so that you can play on that FOMO of like, oh well, this design is only going to be available for so long, right? And am I going to graphic design my own shirts, or am I going to try to commission someone to make the design? You know what I mean? It just kind of gets out of hand with the number of responsibilities that you try to take on for yourself. And the sense of anxiety that creates permeates to then a sense of anxiety about doing the things that you love, because you're like, oh, I need to find some way to monetize that. And if I'm not monetizing it, then I can't really relax and do it because I feel like I'm like there's something I should be doing that I'm not doing. What am I even doing back here? I need to find... Oh, I need to kill some thistle boars, but not young thistle boars. I need adult thistle boars. Cool. The great thing about this game is that I kind of don't have to pay attention to it, especially at lower levels, because I've played it so many times. We're just going through the motions here of starting a brand new character and leveling it. So this is all just going through the motions. Oh, I should have sold my stuff. It's fine. Oh, I learned Mark of the Wild, and I didn't even... There we go. I have no idea if you guys can hear it, by the way, because it's, like, really quiet for me if it is possible to hear it. So, you know, let me know if you can hear it or not, I guess. I feel like maybe I was listening to headphones or something, and listening with headphones, and so I turned down the volume on WoW. I don't hear it, lol. Okay, cool. I just need to... It's like I'm gonna have to remember to turn the volume back down when I'm playing on my own time later. Okay, well, that's doing something. Okay, that sounds like there's some music. Looks like there's some music. Cool. Yeah, what's going on later this week? I finally cut my hair today. I find it so difficult to cut my own hair, and nobody wants to help me with it that I live with, and I really don't want to go pay someone to touch me. So I just have been trying to work up to doing it myself, and I finally did. I finally cut my hair today, so that now means that I can go get my new driver's license, which I'm gonna do this week. There's a spider, I need it. Spider. Do I have frames turned on? Yeah, there we go. OMG, I finally found my wireless keyboard after coming home. I kept having to walk over to my laptop to make comments. Nice. Oh, yeah, and I guess this is, like, something I was thinking about earlier that actually does have something to do with the channel and, like, what I'm gonna do next with it. Because, like I've been talking about, I've been having a really hard time getting back to making content on the channel. And I think part of what needs to happen is I need to maybe not completely rewrite, but heavily edit the script from the Dragonheart video, because I am not the person that I was when I wrote that. I need to record the video after I write it. So I'm like, okay, at least now I have a sense of direction with that. Well, thank you. So, yeah, but I'm in the process of thinking, I'm like, oh, it only just occurred to me yesterday. Oh, I could rewrite that, and just the introduction, I'm like, the introduction could be way better. Could actually have a hook instead of just kind of being a generic YouTube video essay. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a very generic introduction before, so I'm like, okay. And maybe the kind of jokes that I tried to write were maybe not gonna hit the same a month later. So that's what I'm planning on doing next with the video essay aspect of the channel, is just revisiting that script that I've already read, or that I already wrote and recorded, trying to figure out how to make that feel more like me now, recorded in the new space, which is exciting, and try to record it in a different style too. Because I think I might try to embrace this new thing that people do where they hold the microphone. Because I think at least part of the video, I think it would be great to record it from my little corner seat here. I have like a beanbag chair, and, like, you know, in a relaxed way, holding the microphone up, and maybe even I should hold the microphone for any parts that I film up here. But yeah, those are kind of my plans for the channel coming up next. So that'll be something I'm going to start working on this week, ideally. And then I don't know what exactly is next after the Dragonheart video, because I have like a list of things that I want to get into. And I'm still doing that whole thing where I'm like struggling with, should I just start a new channel? Like, I don't know, whatever. So we're just going to kind of keep doing things. And like, am I about to kill my... Here's the other thing too that I'm a little bit afraid of. Like, am I about to kill my channel by trying to pivot to doing fiction stuff? Where... Okay, I need... It's the cats that I need. That's the cats that I need. Great. Because then it becomes a very serious question of like, oh shit, okay, but for real though, maybe I will need to get a real job if I accidentally like kill my channel. Because there are fewer people here. I'm doing what I want to do, which is gaming and talking about movies, but that does mean that there are fewer people here. I'm not feeding into that clickbait outrage bullshit machine anymore, and that will hurt the channel, so... Oh no, my inventory is full. All of the money matters right now. That is only worth 4 copper. Okay, that is not worth it, but I do need to go sell stuff, so I'm gonna go do that. Jeez. Teldrassil music so fucking peak. I actually still can't even hear it myself. For what it's worth, I'm around longer than usual for this stream, and I think it's mostly because there's less politics. Yeah, and, you know, hypothetically, the community will be all the stronger if it is built around, like, the community and camaraderie, rather than drama or whatever. Because if people are here for the politics and the drama, and if they're here for their adrenaline fix, obviously that is going to negatively impact the kinds of conversations and relationships you guys form with each other. And especially since we do have stuff like the community Discord, like what do we want the conversations in there to be about? Well, right now, everybody who's in there followed me because I'm a political streamer, and so y'all talk about politics. Now it's a little bit less nowadays, but that has been the case, where people are mostly talking about politics in there, and that's fine, and I don't fault anybody for it. That's, again, that's like the community, that's the topic that the community was built around initially, right? But if we continue on the way that we're going, where we talk about stuff that's fun, and we talk about stuff that's silly, and we play video games and stuff, then the type of community that we have has the potential to be one that is more uplifting and more mutually supportive and less, hypothetically less combative. Which obviously I believe would be better for everybody involved. I just don't have the mental energy for politics, unless it's Vosh streams, I guess. I guess, you know, you go to Vosh and you're, like, getting a very particular flavor of politics. We all have our own input that we bring to it. We all have our own, like, perspective, so... We somewhat recently started a new D&D campaign out of people from your community. Nice. Yeah, y'all are just like, we like each other enough to do a D&D game. And I'm like, that's great. That's perfect. That's ideal. That's what we want to see. Want to see people who like each other, who aren't going to pointlessly argue. When you do disagree, y'all are like trying to talk it out. You know, being level-headed as much as possible. Because you have to think, like, what's the purpose of it, right? What's the purpose of anything that we're doing? Like, obviously, make money for me. That is one of the purposes of doing this. Cool. It's my job. Great. Which means that I have to do certain things in order to maintain that income, right? But, like, what is the point from the perspective of, like, are we building a community? What is the purpose of that community? You know, previously it has been, we're trying to inform people. We're trying to educate people. We're trying to inflame people and get them passionate about this issue or whatever. And now I'm like, I'm tapped out. I can't keep doing that. So now what is the purpose of the community? Like, the purpose of the community is to enjoy each other's company, but not in a way that is devoid of tangible depth, because I do feel like communities that say, well, we don't allow politics here, frankly, I'm in some communities like that, and I'm sitting there wondering, like, am I even allowed to talk about the fact that I am trans? Like, can I say anything about that? Or is that going to be like, hey, can you tone it down? This is a no politics channel, you know? Because that part of me has been politicized. Or if someone else brings up, like, J.K. Rowling, I feel like I'm not allowed to say, okay, she's transphobic, though, in places that say they don't want political conversation. And I'm like, I would always argue that you brought up a controversial figure, you brought up the politics, right? But it's always the squeaky wheel that gets the attention. So it's going to be me pointing out the problem that is treated like the problem in those spaces. Vash's energy is very disarming, I guess, especially in his accelerationism arc. Is that what we're doing right now? Accelerationism arc? I haven't been watching anybody else's streams lately, so I don't know what he's about right now. I've been noticing myself having some conflicted feelings about what's been happening in the country, because it's like, you know, I struggle sometimes with my frustration with the bureaucratic way that we do things. And I've complained about it before. You know, we are reactive to crime instead of preventing crime. We are retributive instead of restitutive when it comes to people getting hurt. And I have complained about the fact that the bureaucratic process is what slows these things from happening. And I am not like the biggest fan of the way that the government is generally run, you know? So because it doesn't help people, right? That's like my biggest issue, is because it's not actually helping people, even though that is what the system is technically supposed to be doing. Oh, this guy is going to kill me. Maybe not. It's close though. Okay, cool. The poison really fucked me over for a second there. So I guess, like, I can see if people are accelerationists, I can kind of see them feeling like, oh, cool, this is our moment. Because the whole premise of accelerationism, to an extent, is like, yo, we want things to collapse and go badly really quickly, because then we can carpe diem this revolution, or whatever it is that people say. So I can kind of see it, you know, being like kind of an exciting opportunity in some ways for people who are viewing it from that accelerationist standpoint. I can't commit to whether, like, I agree with that, because I'm not really, first of all, engaging with those arguments well enough to know what people are saying actually. But also because I think accelerationism, I mean, to an extent, some of the things that happen are not possible to prevent. Like, if society is going to collapse, a lot of people are going to die, right? But if you accelerate that, are you partially responsible for all the people who died during your conflict that you're having there? Because, you know, the materialism, like the material effect on people, is something that I try to focus on quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Is Vosh on an accelerationism arc? What, you know, is there something I should watch or listen to that explains what he is saying to me? And I can decide whether I agree with the premise. Playing a druid is so boring at first. I think I'm a descriptive accelerationist, not a prescriptive one. So you're saying, like, you can acknowledge that accelerationism is happening, but not saying, like, I think that should happen? Vosh's attitude is mostly just hoping Trump... I think Vosh's attitude is mostly just hoping Trump fucks up the country badly enough that the MAGA movement collapses. Okay, sure, I can see that. Like, it feels like a bubble that has to burst at some point. Whether, you know, the level of extremism that these people are willing to go to, the level of stupidity, like the fact that they're so ignorant and not really engaged with what is going on, you know, that basically everybody here who is trans has at least one family member who is probably not even aggressive toward you, and yet voted for Trump, either in ignorance or in support of his anti-trans policies. And so it's kind of like, you know, how do you even deal with an electorate that doesn't seem to be fully engaging with the guy that they're even voting for? This is when you start to think thoughts like, maybe democracy is not the thing. like maybe there is such a thing as people who are too stupid or too uninformed that they shouldn't be able to control what happens to the rest of us. Like if you're going to be voting and you don't even know what the fuck is going on, like do you like this makes me feel like there should be a higher barrier to voting, but then that's where the fucking authoritarianism slips in. And it's like, oh well, if only I manipulated things so that only people who think like me could vote, then whatever, the country would be a better place. You know what I'm saying? Like I recognize that sometimes you think like, oh, that would be the solution to the problem, but then the solution is like if the wrong person had that weapon and got to point it at people, that would be a significant issue. I just need something to root for. Fucking true. That is a big problem with Dems right now, is like, please give us something to coalesce around. We are desperate for something to like go, yay, this is the thing, or like, yay, this is our guy. Like, yeah, this person believes in things and they're going to do the things that I want them to do. Like, we desperately need something to feel kind of good about when it comes to the Democratic Party, because otherwise it just kind of feels like, okay, well, y'all are just letting all this shit happen. Why are you not fucking making a stronger stand against this, you know? And we can come up with excuses and we can do all this craziness, but it doesn't change the fact that we are kind of collectively feeling super duper hopeless and like not sure what to do. Oh my god, I am so itchy. Mountain eucalyptus, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna go up through this whole building just in case I'm missing a quest. This is one thing in Classic, is like in later iterations, probably first of all, they've streamlined the number of quests, and so there probably were just fewer of them by the time I started playing, but also WoW Classic doesn't always tell you like, oh, this quest is gonna tell you to go talk to this person who has a bunch of other quests, and also there's a person who stands next to her that has a bunch of quests. So in Classic, you have to actually look at the map and like go places that look like there's stuff happening, and then you can take quests there. But there was never going to be a quest that sent you there, which is interesting. But anyway, so you have to actually look for them. Anyway, Kitty says accelerationism is always dumb because we should never want the quote end to come quicker, because then you're taking the ability to get prepared away from people who might have had the opportunity otherwise. At some point, nature will collapse the way we live, and I'm hoping that Trump does damage to piss off Americans so badly that the Republican Party is fucked for 30 years. I think it was Gayfesh who said it. We should not allow the Republican Party to continue. Like, we should dissolve the Republican Party and then create, like you said, Kitty, like 4 or 5 other parties. It's so weird to me still that Oregon has like 11 parties. I hope that they will let me register as unaffiliated. That's what I want. Please let me register as unaffiliated. Yes, I am playing a video game. What's up, Kelly? Oh, what's up, Ellie? Cat Fox. Oh no, I was gonna go up here and see if there's anything up the spire, but it takes forever to get up there. Dems need more hype moments and aura, as the Zoomers would say. I am a Zoomer and I am saying this. We've talked about it recently. Tim Walz was a great choice on the part of the Harris campaign. Frankly, if they had just picked him to run for president, I think we would have been in a much better position. Because, I think Tim Walz basically is what a lot of people wish that Joe Biden was. You know, like an amiable, down-to-earth guy who cares about his family and shit, and, also has progressive values. I think that person was Tim Walz. And if they had just ran him, then maybe things would have turned out different. I do think that bringing in Kamala. It's the 3-syllable names. I just don't think it was a good call. So yeah, we need more young people in the party, which I say, and I'm like, oh, would I consider running for something local? I don't know. I haven't fucking thought about it. Maybe. Did y'all see that lady who said, we have to fuck Trump? And then she got all embarrassed because she was like, I don't curse very well in public. That lady is from Oregon and she was recently elected. I think she recently, she won after having previously not been in an elected position. Maybe she's new at this, but it was a little cute moment, you know? And just goes to show that people can get involved at every level. And even locally in the place where I live now, like it's, you know, it's progressive, but like it's only progressive insofar as we protect those values. And that's the thing too. If you live in a blue state, or if you're thinking about moving to a blue state or something, you can't just take it for granted when you get there. You have to, keeping in mind, like, the fight is not over. If you, like me, if you are in a red state and you move to a blue state, the fight is not over, because they will continue to try to strip things from you that feel like they would be safe. You know, so even in California, even in, you know, Oregon and Washington, even in New York State, you know, you have to continue holding the line and contacting your local people and everything, and being involved, because yeah, they totally will, like, take things out from under you that you thought were secure. So like even in the blue states, maybe even more importantly in the blue states, because they've already taken so much ground in red states, it's hard to get it back, but you can't cede any ground. Tim Walz is only 60. We could have 20 more years of him. Okay, that's not right. I thought that was the path. It's not the path. Not even jumping off the big tree to save a few seconds. I know. I'm only half paying attention to what I'm doing, so, like, to be fair. In fact, between the two of us, my partner is the one who likes to, like, stick to the path, and I'm like, I will ignore the path in order to get there 5 seconds sooner. Also true, yes, very good to remember that even a quote-unquote blue state doesn't mean that it's 100% Dem, because Oregon is very close to purple. Yeah, I moved to a rural county here in Oregon, and not a rural county, it's not right. A red county, or I guess a rural county, kind of both. Anyway, that was part of my plan. I was like, I want to live somewhere that feels kind of familiar to Kansas. Like, I don't want it to be like a super duper culture shock moment. Where am I supposed to go now? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go into this cave, I guess, and kill a bunch of spiders. Cause yeah, you're gonna have to select. You're gonna have to put pressure still on. If you succeed in getting a Dem in a blue state, you know, you continue to support that Dem and make sure that they're following the party platform and everything. But if you live in a place with Republican candidates, you can still put pressure on Republican candidates about local issues. Be like, yo, you know, as a Republican, I care about having a good economy, and you are focusing on fucking trans kids in schools. Like, can you please address the problem of the fact that my rent is like 3/4 of my paycheck? Because that's unreasonable. From what I understand, there are only a handful of states that are actually over 60% line one direction or the other, red or blue. Yeah. Usually gerrymandering from one or both parts. Gerrymandering, yeah. Like, we do have this image in our heads of, like, the electoral map with all this red, all this red, all this red, all this little blue. But there are, you know, I lived in a very progressive part of Kansas. You know, like, Kansas City is blue. Sometimes, like, Topeka and Wichita are also blue. Lawrence, obviously, always blue. But, like... oh, that's out of range. Because everything is done the way that it's done, you know, we end up with... like, the population in the parts of Kansas that are blue is not high enough to supersede the whole rest of the state if we're doing electoral whatever. But it would be enough if the blue cities were not gerrymandered into, like, different areas of, like, ending up being absorbed into a mostly red county. There would be more Democratic legislators in the state level for a place like Kansas. So that's part of the bullshit, is that, like, we have this system created in such a way that near fucking 50% of voters in damn near every state are disenfranchised. And, like, I feel just as bad for the Republicans in California who aren't represented as I do for Democrats. Although, obviously, like, I have... I guess I don't feel as bad for the Republicans, but I feel bad to a degree for the Republicans. Maybe not as bad. Where? How do I get up there? Do I go up there by going this way? Hello, Milena. In this RuneScape hell, yeah, RuneScape in theory, let's go. I guess that is kind of what I'm doing. I'm doing political theory while playing World of Warcraft. I would be very comfortable with that identity. If we became like we play World of Warcraft and like in a very casual way, I'm not sitting here trying to raid on stream. In fact, I was just talking about with my guildmates on my other characters. I've started a brand new character to play with you guys. But we were just complaining about how fucking mad people get when you are not perfect at the raid or you are slow at something or whatever. And I'm like, people be treating WoW like it's their 9 to 5. It is a fesh who is gay. Isn't that crazy? Democrats tend to do their best to govern everyone, whereas Republicans do their best to help their own and disenfranchise portions of the left. True, yes. But also, if it weren't for that disenfranchisement of Republicans, we wouldn't have California. You know, if it wasn't the way that it was, we wouldn't have a blue California. At least not in the same way. Oh my god. My ear just started ringing so loud. Why It's Rude to Suck at WoW is a good video. Yeah, I watched it a while ago. My partner was actually just watching it recently, and I was like, oh, hey, you're watching Dan Olson. I haven't watched that video in so long that I don't remember it, though. I don't remember what it said. But I'm like, it's a game. I'm like, I'm trying to play a game. I'm trying to, like, relax. Bro, I had to genuinely turn off the global chats after the election. I was like, people, I can't deal with hearing y'all talk about Trump right now. Please shut up. It was so annoying. Trying to see if any of this gear is wearable for me. Okay, that was not intentional. Oh, you know what? It's because the lights are so bright that I cannot see the screen very well. Like, my photography lights and stuff are so bright. I just, like, walked off the edge of a cliff. I didn't even see. Probably also my monitor is not as bright as it should be. I just get migraines from really bright lights, so I kind of can't have super bright. I'm gonna die, though. Especially if they're poisoning me. I can't have my monitors on super bright, but that does mean that, like, if everything else is super bright, then I can't see my screen. Okay, now we got another spider. Am I capable of killing spiders 2 at a time? Melena asks, is that the one where they were talking about people not letting others have fun role-playing and not prioritizing optimizing for maximum stats? Yeah, that, I think, is the thing. I don't know if that's what that particular video was about, but yeah, like, genuinely, like, people treat this like it's so serious. They're like, bro, I really need everybody to know, like, how seriously I take this. I want to maximize everything. I've done stuff before where I've looked up, you know, oh, how should I spend these points on my character? Like, what's the optimal thing to do? But that's not as fun as looking at the things and being like, I understand how the character works, and I have decided that the best thing, because of my playstyle, is to do this, that, and the other. But there is, like, a technically correct way to do things, and that bothers me a lot sometimes. It, like, just takes all the fun out of the thing. For a game to have so many variables and then to expect you to do exactly this, that, or the other, or you're not doing it right, is so frustrating. Where am I going? Okay, I need to go back this direction, I think. I've never played League of Legends. I know that it's crazy. I know that it's crazy. It didn't help that the Navy had a policy of putting you off your boat in San Fran if they found out that you were gay. So there was a very, oh, it didn't help California stay red since the Navy would just drop off gay people in San Francisco. There was a very dense population grown over decades by our own local government or by our own government. California is a crazy story. A lot of hippies moved there to save trees in the 50s through 80s. That's funny. Okay, is this where I just careened off the edge of a cliff, or where did I go? Although I'm sitting here talking about how I use WoW as a form of escapism in order to chill, and I'm fucking literally playing it for work right now. That is what is happening. Technically speaking, I am playing my favorite video game for work right now. And yes, WoW is my favorite video game. That feels a little bit silly. I named this druid Big Goober. That's the level of which I'm taking this seriously right now. Big Goober. What about League of Legends though? Oh, is that one where it's like it's rude to be bad at it? I mean, I feel like it's a little different in competitive PvP than it is. Oh man, I'm out. My inventory's full. Oh wait, that means I'm not gonna be able to get anything from over here. Ah, crap. I'm gonna have to get rid of some stuff. Wow, you look different. Yeah, I cut my hair. I never intend to let my hair get as long as it gets when I forget to cut the sides of my hair. I never mean for it to get that long. A big goober is a big silly guy. A goober is a silly guy. I wonder if this dude is gonna have like, are you gonna have like some cool gear or something maybe? I have fond memories of WoW, but I can't go back to it because my former best friend was in the fucking Cosby Suite photo. Wait, how does that have anything to do with WoW? Is that like the friend that you used to play WoW with whom you used to play World of Warcraft? Okay, what can I get rid of that is worth the least amount of gold? Oh, the food that I can eat. There we go. Did I get the egg? I did get the egg. Okay, good. Okay, now am I going to take the fall damage? Yeah. Oh, hello, spider. The Cosby Suite at BlizzCon. You know, the whole expose on Blizzard's culture of sexual harassment. Oh, yeah, shit. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Man. That's a tough thing, too, where it's like, every I don't know, the whole no ethical consumption under capitalism is like, yeah, there is no other game that has ever been able to replace WoW for me. We tried other MMOs and it just never, nothing else ever hit the same. And it's true too, like, I mean, same thing, like, I bought fucking shit, what was it, I bought Tears of the Kingdom, even though I know that Nintendo is highly litigious and also they are not the best to their employees, you know? I know that Walmart is a terrible company, and yet I primarily buy my food there. Okay, they called this the Cosby Suite after the allegations. Got it. So they were just, like, proud about it. Cool. Did I get Moonfire and then, like, not put it anywhere? Yeah, I did. I totally got Moonfire and then didn't put it anywhere. Rejuvenation. Cool. Oh god, League of Legends. We're explaining League of Legends. Here's 1,000 characters and 10,000 items, and you have to go through an upgrade tree every game, but you just follow a spreadsheet. Almost like if there's an optimal path, your character should just level up linearly. Yeah, like, why even give the illusion of choice in that instance? Like, why even pretend... Oh, I need to switch this, actually. Why even pretend that there is another way to play the game if you're just going to be like, okay, well, you in order to actually win, you have to follow this. Woo, thank you. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's you. It's Baphomet. I do think it's funny that this is like one of the ways that people communicate in WoW is by jumping. Like when someone gives me a buff, I might just jump around at them, especially if I'm on my rogue and like I can't give them a buff back. Like, there's no giving a buff back. Cool. Oh my god, my inventory is so full. Can I get that out? Oh yeah, those braces are good for me. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Now I have these. And then I can wear them hot. We love switching out grays for grays. You're getting attacked, Baphomet. Are you gonna fix it? I'll fix it. I'll do it. Did you, like, sit to drink? Oh, you logged out. Okay, that's what happened. Cool. Well, at least you're not gonna log out dead, or you're not gonna log back in dead later. If you even decide to play this tune. I think you just got on to say hi to me. I can't do WoW again because I just can't with MMOs. I get so sucked in. The good thing about this is that, like, we started WoW again in, like, October or September. We got COVID and we were both homesick and we were like, okay, let's play WoW so that we can spend some time together. But I don't really like to play this game by myself that much. It turns out, like, okay, so to be clear, when I play, most of the time I'm a very aggressively solo player. Like, this, perfect for me. I'm just gonna level at my own pace. I'm gonna half pay attention. I'm gonna die and, like, whatever, and not feel like I'm burdening anybody. But yeah, this time around, I'm not really, like, playing in my free time by myself. My partner will be like, hey, do you want to play those characters? And I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that. But I'm not being super proactive about it at this time. What did I just get? I just got a tunic. Woodland tunic. Oh, there it is. So in this instance, I'm not getting sucked in the way that I might have gotten sucked in before, just because I'm just, like, not having as much fun playing it alone as I am playing it with my partner. Okay, get rid of stuff. That object is busy. My microphone thing covers part of my screen, so I have to be like, what's going on over there? Can't see. Cool. All right. I'm gonna need some mana drinks, probably. Who sells mana drinks here? It's you! Also, bean soup. Cool. How much mana do I have? That's overkill right now. Go ahead and take one of these. Maybe two of those. I had chronic alt-itis when I played WoW. I had max level characters of every class, both Horde and Alliance. I'm so itchy. Yeah, I'm really... I mean, there are certain classes that I do not like, so I don't play them. So, I mean, that's... Even if I have a alt that's like a warrior, for example, I don't like warriors. I don't enjoy playing them. So even if I'm, like, bored with all of my characters, I'm not going to sit there and play a warrior, you know? But at any given time, if I have an account that I've worked on for quite a while, I will have a max level druid, a max level priest, a max level rogue, a max level mage. And then I'll typically have a couple other tunes that I'll be working on at lower levels. But I, like, the characters that I really, really enjoy and that I drive and that I spend the time on, it's rogue, druid, priest, and mage. And those are just, like, those are the ones that I actually enjoy. Those are the ones that I care about. I'll try a paladin. I'll try... Oh, I have to go all the way to the top of the tree again. I'll try a paladin. I'll try a... I got pretty far on my warlock this time. I would play more of my warlock. I tied that one up with my partner's mage, so we're playing together. But yeah, I'm like... I am not... Well, right now I'm playing on Alliance, so I can't play a shaman anyway. But, like, I've tried with shaman before. I don't really like them. I don't really like hunter either. Like, warrior, hunter, warlock, shaman. There's just, like... And paladin. I'm like, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of these things. Okay, wait, you won't have anything for me because I am on an odd level. Yeah, okay, cool. I would take my max level characters to maximize chances of mount drops in old raids. Literally, I was wanting Dragon Soul like 11 times a week, and that mount never dropped. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I have to go fill a vial of with fluid of some kind. Where is the? Okay, there's this. Okay, you can do silly stuff like jumping out onto this. Can you? Yeah. No, I can't. Really? They won't let you jump up there? Oh, okay, cool. Whatever. But it'll probably let me jump off the side and kill myself. See? It was totally prepared to let me jump off the side and kill myself, but it won't let me on that roof. Annoying. I never got the time lost Proto Drake. I did look for it, but I never got it. I also spent a lot of time flying around in Deep Home looking for the one that was kind of the same as the time lost Proto Drake, but different. Ooh, speaking of Invincible, I did just watch the first 4 episodes of season 3 of Invincible. My partner and I sat down and watched them. Man, that show is so interesting. I am looking forward to seeing more of it. You know, if you're not watching Invincible, whatever, I guess I won't spoil too much if you're waiting for the whole season to come out. Just based on season 2, like I'm just gonna say that, you know, some of these themes are continuing forward. Oh, do I need these flowers? Yeah, I do need these flowers. Some of the themes are continuing forward. Like the question of like what is a hero? I think that this TV show is doing a much better job of exploring that than a lot of other things that I've seen that try to hit on some of the same notes. Like I think most shows don't really explore whether the hero is a villain to the people that they're allegedly saving. You know, like there's this whole thing in season 2 where Nessa, what is her name? Nissa? She is like, yo, we could cure cancer and everything, and there would never be war again and all this shit. And it's kind of hard to agree with. So yeah, it's that whole thing of like, is she lying, or like, is the only reason why she's bad because they give people these things by conquest? You know, and then like, yeah, in the 3rd season, they're kind of exploring more on a personal level, like, you know, Mark is trying to be a good person and all these things, but he also is like kind of a menace to people. You know, if what you're doing is stopping people from robbing a bank, well, in a complex world, there are complex reasons why people do things like rob banks, and you can't just like punch those people and send them to jail. That kind of makes you a bad guy. If you can see the circumstances where someone's life has caused them to not have opportunities, which have then led them to have to do things that are criminalized, like, for example, selling drugs, or, for example, robbing a bank. You know, like those things, not having something means that you're going to have to find a way to get it, or you'll be homeless, right? So in a society where there's all those pressures, if someone then beats you up for the crime of stealing food or whatever, like that person is a villain in your life. And I honestly don't know that the show is ever going to draw this connection, but that's what cops are. Like that's why we feel so strongly about law enforcement, taking liberties with their power, is like, these are people who are struggling and you're a villain in their lives. You're an active antagonist in these people's lives. You're actively getting in the way of people thriving by protecting property rights over human life and everything. Like that is, like, you know, it's a quintessential one-to-one. You can draw one-to-one parallels between the types of criticisms we give to police and the types of criticisms that we see being explored to some extent in the show Invincible. You know, like, are you really a good guy if what you're defending is, you know, climate change? Like, you're defending climate change right now. In the sense of, like, when he's having that conversation with Ness, whatever the fuck she's called. Um, yeah, I don't know. Hey, congrats, Kitty. Yeah, you're deep in if you're like selling gold and stuff. Wait, is that the mushroom that I need? Yes. These mushrooms don't stand out very much. So I'm gonna have to be really on the lookout for them. Mushy, 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 mushrooms. Where are more mushrooms? I want them. There's some. What did you say earlier, Kitty? You said something I wanted to react to. What did you say? She said, you aren't actually playing WoW in this way where you're trying to entertain us with it. It's actually something to help you stay on the stream longer with us, from what I can tell. Playing the game the way you just play the game. Yeah, that is kind of the goal here, is like, if I didn't have the WoW to distract me, I would be like, oh shit, I don't know what to talk about. But kind of now that I'm playing it, my thoughts are able to flow a little bit more freely, and so I'm engaging in conversation that I am not sure that I would be able to do otherwise. I know I'm starting mushroom hunting training early. I'm very excited about the idea of acquiring mushrooms. I'm very nervous about hunting mushrooms, obviously, like foraging mushrooms. Very nervous about it. I would like to feel confident. That's why I like foraging morel mushrooms, because I'm like, there is no way you can fuck this up and eat a mushroom that could kill you. Other mushrooms you don't have the same level of confidence with. But I'm excited to. What I really would like to do is just hike somewhere. I need to probably acquire the right shoes for that. But yeah, oh, there's more mushrooms. I found them. Gotta go walk the property again and check for new pops. Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys get any snow? We had a little bit of snow this past week. And then it's gone. It's already gone. It's kind of awesome. And meanwhile, it's super cold back home. And like, one of my friends is a bus driver for the public bus transit back home. And they have like several days where the buses are just not even going to try to run this week because it's so cold that the buses don't function very well. I mean, we got some slush. Yeah, it was similar here. Mountains of good hiking all around the area. Yeah, because like the thing is, you just go hiking and then naturally you'll end up looking at what's around you, and then like, okay, that's a natural opportunity to go foraging, is when you're going hiking already. There are apps that will help identify mushrooms with a camera on top of what you know and a book. I don't trust any of those apps. I do have the book that I have, Mushrooming with Confidence, which is on my bookshelf right there. It's not like, oh, here's how you'll identify any mushroom. It's here's how to identify like 10 specific mushrooms, and here's how to make sure you've identified them positively without shadow of a doubt that it is anything else. So that's like useful. I'm not out there trying to like identify every single mushroom. There are infinite numbers of species of mushroom. It's impossible to do all of them. Maybe I should just finally accept that I just need to be a video game streamer. Stop trying to fight my fate. Trying to battle with the forces of destiny. I had that channel back in the day. I had a Let's Play channel. I was so proud of it too. I worked so hard on those videos. Genuinely, it was like an incredible endeavor that I'm still very proud of, despite the fact that I haven't posted anything on there in years. We had 4 hard freezes in a row and broke a week's worth of coldest records. Now the mushrooms should be super ready, with it having warmer days and colder nights. What is interesting is the forest is so dense, it is super warm under the canopy and it doesn't even frost. Oh, I love that. It's like it's like the warmth off the trees. I am so sad. I basically killed all of my plants except one that is supposed to overwinter. I'm pretty sure that all of my plants died on the trip. So now I'm like, man, I would kind of like to restart my plant collection. But like on one of my windows in my house, there's like the whole windowsill is just full of dead plants that I've like trimmed off all the parts above, most of the parts above the soil, and I'm like hoping that there's still some life in the roots and maybe some of them will start kicking up some babies, but the likelihood of that is pretty low actually. I love how I'm on this timer and this guy like needs the poison antidote or he's gonna die, and I'm just like, let me climb up this giant tree. There are regional guides for foraging that are usually pretty cheap little books. Yeah, I was perusing on the Amazon.com to see like specifically identifying, books that are good for Pacific Northwest plant identification specifically, and they exist. Like I said before, like they're this is great. I'm so excited to start exploring these hobbies. Right this particular moment, I cannot really spend money that I don't have. Trying to coast on my savings for the next month or two while my partner looks for a job. Okay, now I have to go give the man his antidote. Antidote can't climb over that apparently. We're struggling. Ooh. It's also so dumb. This is a jump in subject. Having absorbed so much anti fat phobia stuff, and then still when you start to gain weight, you're like, oh no, I hate that. Like, all right, cool. And then you start finding yourself thinking all these fucked up things about like, how heavily can I restrict my eating? And then you're like, no, there's an eating disorder down that path. So I'm trying to be balanced. I've started going for walks, and I recently did stairs. I told you about that because my legs hurt really bad last stream. My legs feel better. I've still been going on walks around the neighborhood, which feels amazing. And I started looking up like resistance band exercises so that I can put together like hopefully a home workout routine, which sucks. I'm so much better at keeping track of my health and workouts when I'm going to the gym, but I don't want to go to a gym. Excuse me. Like, at the very minimum, I guess standing while yeah, Nuvenal says, when I was in the throes of that shit, like, girl, you love fat people, what are you thinking? Yeah, but it's the difference between, like, what I like on other people versus, like, what I want to represent, you know? Like, I like women, but I don't want to be a woman. I don't hate my body or anything. I'm just, like, finding myself sometimes having the ghost of, like, some crazy shit that I normally wouldn't think, you know? Okay, what if I change the title of the stream? Whatever. The stream is not going to recover viewers at this point, so we can change the stream title to whatever we want. Cool. Sad Panda Face. I have a ton of philodendron and aloe starts right now if you need a few. Easy to get a few more kinds started too. Yeah. So I philodendron I'm gonna hold off on because I don't really know how to deal with a vining plant. I do love the aloe starts thing, and my aloe being dead would be the biggest bummer probably because I got the pups from my sister-in-law. A huge bummer, but yeah, that's awesome. And I do mean to visit at some point. I need okay. You haven't been here for terribly long, Kitty, so maybe you won't have the answer to this, but where's the first place on the coast that I should go? WoW streamer? Hi, Allison. Did you just join because I changed the title of the stream to that? Like, I was wondering what would happen if I changed the title of the stream. Uh, but yeah, where would be the first place? Because I have Um, I have a person who lives with me who has never seen the ocean before, period. Like, never seen any ocean before. And I have never seen the Pacific Ocean before. So I'm like, is there a particular place that I should go to bring them to be like, yo, here's the ocean for the very first time? No, just before. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, no. I'm not really like streaming WoW to stream WoW. I'm just streaming WoW to have something to do in the background while I talk. You can't even see my entire screen, I'm realizing. You asked about beach visits last time, still saying Tillamook for the ice cream. Okay, fair enough. Tillamook for the ice cream. I think I just didn't get a satisfying answer last time. You know? And I can get the ice cream at the store. I don't necessarily need, like, the full fat whole cream ice cream from the place. I am trying to watch my heart health. This guy, he's a demon. Look at that guy. He's a demon. If you look really closely at the night elf. Oh, wait, did they not add that in until later? Oh, they didn't add it in until later. The ears bounce later on in the game. Oh, come on, dude. Come on, please. In later versions of the game, the ears bounce when you move, but they don't do it. I'm a Tillamook hater, TBH. We had Umpqua? Umpqua? How the fuck do you say that? We had a different kind of ice cream recently, and it was really yummy. It was like espresso or something. Tillamook has really nice beaches, though. You can walk out on a jetty along the ocean. Okay, fair. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind. You could take the ferry to San Jose Island, and there is a whale watching point where you could see the orcas from when they come through. Is that down in San Jose? That's in California, right? Seaside and Tillamook are good. Seaside is a little touristy, but still fun. You kind of can't go wrong, though. The coast is beautiful. Fair enough. San Juan, whatever the island is. Okay, I'm just maybe not familiar. There's so many quests in Dolinar. As far as beaches go on the ocean, I would suggest Florence. Florence, is that in Oregon? Drea, oh no! Okay, thank you, Baphomet. Okay, hold up. Let me pull this up. Bayocean Peninsula Park. Where is that? Oh my god, it's so zoomed in. Okay. Oh, it is. Okay, so it's just west of Tillamook. I see. Cute. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, it's a peninsula. Got it. Yep. Cool. Okay, chat's back. Got you, got you. It's weird because everywhere I go in Oregon, I tell people where I'm from. They say, oh, that's my favorite part of the coast. We have several miles of walkable beach and some cool features. I would check and see if the sea lions are in their cave right now because that's pretty neat. It's the largest sea cave in the country, and that is just north of Florence. Okay. It doesn't like big links. I think that's true. Yes, it is in Oregon. Okay, cool. So yeah, Seaside is good, Tillamook is good, Florence is good. Okay. I appreciate y'all. You know, because it's looking like it's going to get warmer soon. And I want, pretty much as soon as it's warm enough to handle what I assume is going to be a rather breezy visit to the beach, I would like to go soon. Because I have never seen the Pacific Ocean. Never been this far west until now. And then, yeah, my sibling, I want to show my sibling the ocean because they've just never seen it straight up. Any ocean. Where's the door? There's the door. Maybe I'll collect some rocks. Start a rock collection from the coast. I have the ability to see the link, even though it got by the bot, so I pulled it up. What are we oh my godding? What's oh my god? Ding. What was that, 6? Where's the druid trainer? Over here, I think. Druid trainer. What's up, homie? Teach me the ways to learn. Is it only balance right now? Oh my god, it's only balance right now. Christ. Okay. Well, we have thorns. And we have wrath rank 2. Good stuff. Cool. What can I say except you're welcome? Good lord, where is that? Way over there. Okay, cool. I can't even imagine moving too far from the ocean. It's such a big part of my love of the world, and the idea that someone hasn't even seen it before. Yeah. Like, it's travel is so much easier in like Europe, you know? Travel here is very difficult. If you don't have a car and you don't have enough money for an aeroplane, then like how the fuck are you gonna go see things? Like how are you the many, 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 many thousands of miles, or the many hundreds of miles that are required, you know, from Kansas, where I'm from Kansas, dude. If it wasn't for the fact that my mom got impregnated by a man whose family lived in Florida, I don't know that I ever would have been to the East Coast, because I've only been to Florida. I haven't been to like Pennsylvania and been to the ocean in fucking North Carolina or whatever. It was they, them. Yeah, like, and then like a similar thing when like my grandma, actually I had a couple of different family members who moved from Kansas to Colorado. Would I have ever seen the Rocky Mountains if it wasn't for the fact that my parents would like visit with me to those family members in Colorado? Probably not. So, you know, if I didn't have those particular life circumstances, I might never have seen the mountains or the ocean until just now either. And like my younger sibling is in that situation where they're like, I'm from Kansas. We have like one of the same family members who lives in Colorado, but like my dad is estranged from him. So we don't see that particular family member. So like my younger siblings never had a reason to go to Colorado to visit family. So yeah, it's just interesting, the life circumstances that bring us to where we are. And yeah, like if you live in Kansas, like what you know is the prairie and what you know is thunderstorms and prairie fires and shit like that. Like that's, you know, hills, you know, deciduous trees. It is not the same as going somewhere else. I love how purple this zone is. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Teldrassil is really pretty. Florence is good if you're anywhere near Eugene, because it isn't a terribly long drive, and also it is very beautiful. I enjoy that road quite a lot when driving up to Eugene. I like using the 101 and then small highways rather than the 5. Yeah, that makes sense. Recently, I was trying to navigate somewhere and it wanted me to hop on the 5, and I was like, no. Thank you. I'm excited for me too. Going someplace with tide pools should be on your list. It's very cool being able to see such a complex little ecosystem. Agree. That's kind of the type of thing that I was wondering. Like, is there any cool places where there's tide pools? Is there any place where like there's like a cliff face that you could look out from? I don't know. But Florence, Tillamook, Bay Ocean, these are some ideas floating around now. I-5 is boring. Yeah. I haven't been anywhere or seen shit. Ocean may not even be real, IDK. I can confirm for you that Ocean is real. That's, I mean, you know, you have to just trust me and take my word for it, I guess, which is, you know, maybe you don't want to do that, but... I remember reading Twilight, which I did recently try to do again, and wow, I didn't make it very far. But the beach that they go to in Washington has tide pools, which is neat. Another cool place, not ocean, for hiking and pictures and relaxing in the area is Silver Falls State Park. Silver Falls State Park, I know people said that Multnomah Falls is really beautiful. You're in on it, sorry, Fed. Oh, I'm a Fed because I believe in the ocean? Alright, I see how it is. Criminal. Like, man, what else is coming up? We're getting close to the end of February. We're getting close to it's been 1 month since I moved here. Like, I guess it's already been 1 month since the actual trip itself, because we arrived like the day after the inauguration, so it was the 21st. So yeah, like in a couple of days it'll have been 1 month since I arrived. We're mostly settled in. Probably more to do still. I mean, there's definitely, like, my fucking office isn't even finished yet. Not just the set behind me, but like the soundproofing everywhere else in the room, and you know, like there's stuff in my bedroom that is still not organized. So like the kitchen's mostly organized. I did realize recently, like yesterday, that we have one box that's called kitchen storage. So it's like stuff that I didn't even get out that often before, and so I labeled it kitchen storage so that I would know that I did not need to open it very soon after moving in. But now that it's been a few weeks, I'm like, maybe I should check what's in that box. I don't actually know what's in it. Okay, what is this? This is the jade vial that I need to fill. Oh no, there's a night saber. I need to kill it anyway. Mr. Kitty, he's snoring. He's a snoring baby. There's a few nude hot springs east of Eugene. That sounds terrible. What's in the box? The box is literally actually, I think, empty right now. The box is empty. Do you want to donate $100 and I'll come up with something to put in the box? I don't have anywhere to put it in the background either. I would just have to pick it up and be like, do you want to know what's in here? And then put it down somewhere. Hot springs don't normally wear clothes. You don't even normally wear, like, a bikini? You wear a bikini at the hot springs? I'm a lot more thoughtful now than I used to be about things being dirty. Jojo says there are non-nude hot springs. Put the box on a wall shelf. Well, so that's the thing. Like, I don't want to put screws in the wall. I'm renting a house. You know, like, I'll use nails, but I don't want to use screws. It's like rude. And I don't want the landlord to ever come in and be like, bro, I can see that you clearly broke your lease. And like, you know, if someone decides that they want to evict you, they'll come up with anything. Whatever you wear to the hot springs will be covered in lava particles. Is that good for you? Is that desirable? Is that why people OMG screw the wall? I don't want to screw the wall. I don't find walls attractive. Your kink is not my kink, but your kink is okay. I grew to enjoy my 6-hour drives to LA. Is that all it takes? You'll be driving from Portland? Hold up. You drive from, wait. Oh, you're just saying the I-5. You were in California. I was like, LA is in SoCal. What are you talking about driving from Oregon? No, you're not talking about driving from Oregon. You're talking about being in California already. That makes more sense. I was looking at routes through California at one point, just kind of contemplating the drive. And man, California looks like it sucks to drive through, TBH. There's I-5, and then there's like some other smaller highway in SoCal. Portland to Sacramento is like 9 hours. That is what I thought. Now these humanoids like to run away. It's kind of annoying. We have to find something we can listen to while I'm doing this in the future. My inventory is full. No, I want that cloth. Give me the cloth. I don't really need cooking on this tune either. I don't want to do cooking on this tune. Let me get linen though. I need to go upstairs. Please let me. So much uninterrupted podcast time. We didn't end up listening to like basically anything during our drive. Like I genuinely can't remember. There was no point at which we like genuinely were like listening to something. We were in conversation or we were just looking at stuff. God damn it. And we drove for 4 days. It's good to have people that you're like, we just enjoy each other's company enough to just like be in a car together for like 50 hours. However long that ended up being. Man, it was a long time. It was a long drive. It was like a minimum of 12 hours each day. Like maybe the last day ended up being less than 12. But we left at like 6 or 7. And then, yeah, no, it was less than 12 for sure for that last day. 4 days driving without ever listening to anything would drive me up the window. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were in conversation a lot of that time. Oh, nope, this is about to be my first death. I don't have anything. There we go. Had to happen sometime. Invisible by Duran Duran on repeat. True. And there was a lot to look at, you know. Driving through the American Southwest. So beautiful. Plenty to point at and look at and talk about. Are you Mr. Baby? Do I need to show you to the people again? He's sleeping. He can't hear me. Oh, he's awake now. Hi, baby. Are you awake now? I love you so much. Oh, he's being so cute. Mr. Baby. I wonder if he knows his name. His name is Mitternacht, but we don't usually call him that. He's just Mr. Baby. That's all he is. That's all he'll ever be. Gonna smack him around with my stick. Gonna smack him around with my stick. I got a stick and I'm gonna smack you with it. Oh no, I do not have the mana for this. And it doesn't help when you resist. Am I gonna die again? Probably, maybe, oh, maybe not. But if you get another guy, then I will. Thank you. No! Oh, fuck. Ah, I'm gonna try to run away. It's not gonna work. Ah. Okay. No. Okay, the lava particles in the hot springs are supposed to be good for your skin. Okay, leaving combat. Great. I was gonna die again. Driving through Arizona and New Mexico are some of my favorite drive memories. A very cherished piece of my childhood died in New Mexico one day. I was driving and a road runner ran out in front of me and I hit it. In 30 years in the Southwest, I had never seen one get hit, and there is a myth around them that they never do. Myth busted, sadly. I'd be playing classic WoW like a cop. Stop resisting, stop resisting. Exactly. Exactly. Yamero. Stop resisting. Oh my god, dude. I'm becoming the Federales. My cats know their names, but they're just Baby and Buddy most of the time. Yeah, oh, there's that healing potion that I could have used a minute ago. Yeah, I can get rid of that. Cool. Now I want this over here. Good stuff. Oh, he dead. No, he not dead. Now go back to Dolinar. Okay, great. That sounds perfect. Boom. Yeah. But yeah, man, Arizona and New Mexico were beautiful. God, they were gorgeous. And then Utah, we spent the entire time driving through Utah on I-84. And like, why? It's not even like, you can't even say it's like a city. It's like weird because like basically I-85 just like along almost the entirety of I-85 north of Cedar City. What feels like the entirety of I-85 north of Cedar City in Utah is like, it's just like city around the highway the whole way. There's just like more city. And you're like, where are we? And it's like, I don't know. Like technically this is part of Salt Lake City, but not really. Like, I don't know. It's so strange. Or was that 84? I don't remember which one it was. It was whatever. It was whichever one goes up through Salt Lake City. Did you know that dolphins give each other names? I think I must have known that fact before at some point in the past. What am I doing? Owl feathers, night saber fangs, this guy, emerald dream catcher. I think what's actually about to happen is I'm done being on the stream. So we'll go back to Dolinar. We will finish what we can finish and then log out. Did you know that orcas eat moose? I did not know that, I don't think. Orcas eat moose? When? When does that happen? Do moose just be like swimming in the ocean? I guess they must. It seems like necessarily part of it. Moose are really good swimmers. I knew that they were really good swimmers. I guess I just assumed that they were only swimming in freshwater. Like, what's out there? Are they eating something? They're eating the vegetation. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I guess I just assumed that they were doing that only in freshwater. That's my bad. You know what they say about when you assume. Orcas can go inland. Oh, I guess like up, they could go like up the river, right? Like up the Columbia River or whatever. Wait, so they don't have to be in saltwater? I guess it's like, they're like a mammal, so maybe it works different. The Puget Sound is an estuary and we have 3 orcapods. Elephants do that too? Oh, fun. There's another quest pack here for me to turn in. Betoothed whales. True. Top 3 type of animal. Wow, I love my lack of bag space. My complete and utter lack of bag space. I need to get to Stormwind so that I can just be like, hey, I'm poor, can you please give me like 10 gold? Somebody. Alright, I'm gonna get off of here. We're nearing that 4-hour mark. We're about 3.5 hours. There's only 21 people here. I've had venison before. Deer, of course, not moose. Is it called venison when it's moose? I think I've had venison sausage before, but I haven't had like venison steak. Although, as I understand it, venison steak is like super duper duper lean. Because you want to cut off all the deer fat because deer fat don't taste good. Moose is a deer. Okay, so it's just called venison. Got it. I grew up driving between Salt Lake and Arizona and watching it all get less and less nature within view of the highways. Also watching the bathtub ring grow forever, then having people be like, look at the bathtub ring. Orcas prefer saltwater, we think because of the buoyancy, but they do not mind spending some time in fresh. Nice. Mossison, are you trying to eat me? Is that why you donated to my GoFundMe? Drea. Trying to cannibalize me right now. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm basically done being online now. So I'm gonna go rest my voice. I'm gonna have myself a little sneaky snack on the way to dinner. And thank you all for hanging out with me so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me babble to you about shit that I care about. And thanks for chilling while I played a little bit of WoW. I'm not supposed to know about that? Well, yeah, that was your fault. Transgender goodbye. Hold on. I don't know what I'm going to do with this ultimately, but for now, this is how we do a transgender goodbye. It's like an Irish goodbye because